Let's go to two-man advantage. Long Island punk rock, hockey punk. I know I always play the same song, but welcome to the Devils You Know. We'll do a little rim shot. We'll lower that. We'll do a Chico Doc. We'll be throwing a few of those in today. I hope everyone is doing well. It is now almost the end of January. It's the 28th of January. And there's only, 4 games left for the Devils? 3 home games and one game in Ottawa. So, I gotta find something low. Alright, that should be good. So, what's been going on with the Devils? Not who cares, but whatever. First of all, finally got the home Maclean jersey. Gonna keep it in there for now. Got a little something set up where I'm gonna get that signed, and one of the cards. But I do want to talk about a bunch of stuff, including hockey cards, grading hockey cards. I don't know if any of you guys are interested in stuff like that, but my background music really seems loud today. I'm really not into it. Excuse me. So let's go through some hockey cards because I pulled a special card. It's not Devils. It's not a Devils card, but it is what it is, and it's very special. So I'm going to I'll explain the cards for people who are listening and for people who are watching. Of course, I'll make my screen bigger so we can take a look. All right, so I'm sending these into PSA. If anyone knows anything about card grading, let me know what you think. I'm going to start with this. I have a question about this. This Maclean Celebrini Black Victory Rookie Black is a special edition National Hockey Card Day edition. I have 2 of them. If you were to find this rookie, which is still a little rare, in a set, it would have the Upper Deck logo at the top there. These are from National Hockey Card Day, which it also says on the back bottom there. These are very special inserts. I didn't get the autos, but I was lucky to get 2 of these. That's pretty cool. So I've heard that if you send 2 of the same card to specifically it was PSA, but I'm just, when I say PSA in this video, I'm referring to just grading companies in general. And I might forget, but I do want to talk about the new one, the AI, the one that does it with AI, which sounds really great, but are my cards going to be worth as much being graded by that company compared to PSA? Is PSA just that name going to make my cards worth more money? If you know, please help me out and get the answer. So that's 2. Well, the sun is shining. That's 2 Victory Black Celebrini rookies. We got Jacob Dobas Young Guns. These are all, I've done my checks as best I could. Like a card like this, it's perfectly. There's no centering issues. A card like, and you might be surprised that I'm going to send this one in, but I have reason. A card like this is hard to be off center. Just a full photo, unless somehow the name or whatever. But this is the Maclean Celebrini sophomore year card. 1 season. In his first season, he had 63 points, 70 games, 25 goals, 38 assists. What a rookie season. And his sophomore slump does not exist. This is Maclean Celebrini. He's a champ in my mind. I can't even explain how excited I am for the Sharks. I used to back in the day, like the Sharks were like my Western. I wasn't a fan of the Sharks. I have like a Sharks hat. I have a Sharks jersey from back then, but the Sharks were my favorite team in the West. I just, I like their jerseys and stuff. And then they went on like a 20-year run from like 2000 to 2020 or something like that, where they could have won the cup like any one of those years almost. So we got a blue rookie authentics Will Smith, definitely a 10. I have like 8 of these. I've sent a few out. If you get this graded prominent rookie National Hockey Card Day Maclean Celebrini, I also have the Bedard one. That's something good. Now I got a Frank Nazar rookie authentics gold, and it's not a small number. It's number 330. Well, it's 396 out of 1299. It's a lower number out of 1299, but there's 1299 of these. Still a good card to get authenticated. Not authenticated, to get graded. Blue rookie authentics. We go to the Ducks. They're Cutter Gauthier. I forgot it. What's that song? That Gauthier, whatever. I got this Cale Makar population count clear cut. Then I got these guys: Allure rookies, Quinn Hughes and Cale Makar. All of my cards are in mint condition, and this is the last one. This is the newest one. Matthew Schaefer, Allure rookie. It's not a special. It's not a black or a red rainbow or anything. It's just a regular one. But I'm going to send it to PSA. As you can see, it's ARMS. Allure rookie, Matthew Schaefer. So tell me what you think. In this box I have here, I have smaller boxes all full of cards. Right here, I have a bag here. Look, Stefan Nason happens to lie on the outskirts of this. There's some cards in some plastic here. Let's see what it is. Oh, look, it's Andreas Johansson Mango Rookie Authentics. If anyone wants that card, let me know. You know what I'm willing to do for my followers, and there's some good cards in this. They're not in sleeves or anything, but they're all in good condition. Nick Suzuki. There's a whole Metal Universe, like Roman Yossi. This is Metal Universe. This is a whole box, $100 box of Metal Universe cards. They're all here. Oh, look, JT Miller. Nason's there, of course. You got the Johansson. With the Metal Universe, they really don't make cards of players that suck. So they're all good players. I'm willing to give this away, except for this Hayden Fleury card, because these Seattle cards to me are worth something sentimental. They are labeled as inaugural game. So I got to put this with the other ones. I have 3 other players. I'm not sure how many they did with that. I should actually look into that. But there are some Upper Deck 24-25 Extended Series cards. Oh, look, Carson Soucy. You got a Devil. Here's some Devils right in the back here. Ending with Nason. So, here, let's go through the Devils cards that are in here. Fabian Zetterlund. Dougie Hamilton, MVP. Oh, whoops. Matthew Barzal, sorry. Vitek Vanacek and Nason. I also have Dilly Dude, and he's also in the jersey. If you want that one, I could throw it in. So if anyone's interested in this bag with these cards in it, obviously they're not in plastics or anything, but I'm taking very good care of them. I wouldn't say there's any damage to any of those cards. To finish off the card thing, I also have these from 1989. If anyone is a baseball fan, I've been 10 minutes already. Holy shit. I have these from 1989. These are MLB stickers from Topps. Blue Jays. What do we got? I can't even see it. Cardinals. Angels. Orioles. Yanks. That's a good one. And Giants. If anyone likes those, interested in those, please let me know. Also, let's go through what's in this little shenanigan. Oh, look, it's another prominent rookie, Maclean Celebrini. Rookie moments, Connor Bedard. 4 rookie moments, Maclean Celebrini. I gotta send one of those in too. I forgot. I have a Ja Morant rookie, just sitting there, on the other side of a rookie moments card. Here we have prominent rookies of Maclean Celebrini and Cutter Gauthier. And also, I've been trying to keep this a secret, but this Wyatt Johnson card is an error. On the back, it says, you might not be able to see it, but it says 2 WHL seasons, which I emailed Upper Deck, and they said, basically between me and the guy on eBay that I told about this, they said, hey, that's your market. Basically, they didn't even want to know what card it was. They said the market's on you, you know. So the one guy put it up for $20. I think it's a pretty significant error, because errors are usually, much smaller than that. That's putting a whole. I mean, it is one letter off, but it's a whole different league, you know. I feel really weird without any background music. So anyway. Last night we had Johnny Mac, the Johnny Mac night. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up some videos, if you don't mind. You could listen to them, of course. This is not something where you have to be watching. But also Haminaho scored again. You know, you love to see it. You hate to not see it. Alright, so let me pull up my schmagegi. Alright, so here we go. John Maclean, I'm going to stop it in a second.
Situation, and he was very valuable and a very proven playoff player.
Mac, he was such a clutch player, clutch goal scorer. He was our go-to guy. He was the guy we could count on.
Woo!
Accompanied by his wife Adrian, his son JC and JC's wife Mary, and his son Kyle. Please welcome
Now,
honorary John.
I'm gonna be real. First of all, John Maclean looks like he's a mini Danico with the glasses, and ironically, I said that before I saw Danico, and Danico grew in the goatee, which is hilarious.
Clay.
Look at that. It's like they got the same style. They got the bald head with the black rim glasses. I love the look, guys. I love the look. Now, like I was gonna say, oh look at that. Let me screenshot that. Johnny Mac is a bit of a rambler, you know. He went on a big ramble. So let's get started with.
Presenting John.
let's get past him getting a bottle of wine or whatever.
The son of Devil's first owner's ring of presenting John.
Now, one thing John Maclean did that was a mistake, and you can't fault him for it. He was in the moment. He's standing on the middle of the ice in front of I don't know if it was sold out, but a sold out arena with both teams watching him. They could have done this against the Islanders like next week, where his son is there, and he could have, like he did to the Jets, he spoke to the Winnipeg Jets as a team, like just to give them, because he's just a great guy. He always has been since I was a little kid. I remember John Maclean was sitting at the Nassau Coliseum. He was sitting in the stands watching. I don't know what he was doing. He was injured at the time, and he was sitting in the stands watching the warm-ups. And I was like, "Oh shit, John!" I didn't say "Oh shit." I was a little kid, but I said, "John Maclean sitting right there," and I sat next to him. That's when he signed, not this jersey that's next to me, another one, but he sat down and talked to me like an adult. Great guy. Now, he does forget Sergei Brylin. He mentions like every player that's out there, which we're gonna see. A couple of my buddies, Chorsky, Dowd, Dano. But Sergei Brylin and Lemaire come out with his red jacket, and he says, "Oh, I hope I don't forget anyone." And Sergei Brylin's right to his right, and he keeps mentioning Jacques Lemaire behind him. Sergei Brylin, his name's up there, but he deserved for John Maclean to say his name. But of course, under the pressure, it was a mistake. I'm not mad at him. I'm sure Brylin isn't. What a great guy Sergei Brylin is.
They're presenting John
Here they
with
are.
his custom jacket, which symbolizes his place in Devils history as a member of the Devils Ring of Honor.
Palat had to miss the game. He couldn't stay. You couldn't stay to watch John Maclean, Palat. Jay Gallen.
To say a few words.
Oh, wait.
Now, John would like to say a few words.
All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to put a different video up. The video, which video is it? Lineup of Devil's Legends? Yeah, I just missed Chico Resch. My bad, Chico. Love you to death, my friend. You are the king. Never forget it. All right, let's watch that. Or listen.
Driver!
Bruce Driver. Oh, I started a little late. Okay. Bruce Driver. Now these are Devil's Legends.
Jim Dowd!
Jersey Jimmy Dowd. I'm a little biased when Aaron Brodin. Now remember, Aaron Brodin, early Devil. Neil Brodin, Devil Stanley Cup champion. Probably wouldn't have won the 95 Cup without Neil Brodin. But Aaron Brodin, excellent guy. And I believe he's wearing... we're going to check it out. I'm going to maximize my video for a second. This Fanatics Devils with the black logo. And I believe on the back it says New Jersey. New Jersey Hockey or something. I believe he's wearing this same thing because I saw him in an interview later on. All right, let's get back to
Tom Chorsky!
Yeah, Tommy Chorsky. These players should be tapping for all of these legends that paved the way for them. This is Tommy Albaline once again. Did so much for the Devils. Underrated, by the way. these Devils players should be tapping for every one of these guys. It's kind of annoying that they aren't. That's probably the bad luck that they, like, Nico's clapping at least. But Brendan Shanahan. Would you have expected to see Brendan Shanahan in this? I would have thought Bobby Carpenter. Woo! Let's give him. Another one. Ooh, capture crunch. All right, sorry. Lou. How cool is that? I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, guys. So, I hope you enjoyed seeing that. Of course, all that stuff is on my my X account. So now, of course, as you can see over my right, we have Palat and Silipsov. All right, I thought I had the audio fixed there, but we'll go back to this background music. We're going to have a special guest, I believe, in like 15 minutes. This might be a longer episode than usual. We'll see. But the warning take, I don't know if he tells people his real name, so I'm not going to say it right now. But Carolina Hurricanes fan, yes, the Devils, you know, will have a Carolina Hurricanes fan on this show. And the reason for that is that I can get I don't want to do that. I get along with fans of all teams. Actually, mostly fans of other teams. Devils fans, for the most part, are the ones that don't like me. I didn't even mean to hit that. I'm just looking for any sort of music that doesn't sound too loud in my ears. I wish I could play back and listen to see how loud it was. Anyway, let me get off the topic. So we have this trade, right, with Palat and the Islanders for Maxim Spalakov, whatever, with a T in front of it. Now, of course, the Devils have got rid of all of his salary, which is great because it was like 6. They were hitting 6 for the next 2 years. Ooh, I hit my microphone off. So, Maxim Spalakov, yeah. Nico, no borking. He's going to start borking. Nico is part of, on Twitter or X, at NJ Devil Dogs, and on YouTube at The Devil Dogs. They figured out that the pool is iced and snowed over, so now they're jumping on the pool and wrestling on it. So it's like dog wrestling on the frozen pool. Pretty cool videos, pretty funny. Check them out. They're rescue dogs. I rescue dogs. I like to help animals. If you love animals, give me a follow. I'm all about the animals. So, getting rid of the Palat contract's great. He's been doing nothing. I'm hoping that the Devils really go for Blake Coleman, to bring Blake Coleman back. I'm going to... I did that so I could lower that music, and then I'm going to have to go music free. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to really be a dick, and I'm going to... Nico. You guys should definitely check up on the dogs because they've been absolutely amazing. and funny. Today's funny. What am I on here? I have a premium account. There should be no ads. That was the Devil Dog account though. Someone's telling me they met Theo Fleury in prison. I met him in prison. Story is too long to tell. If you'd like to come on my podcast and tell the story, I would love to have you. That was me having an interaction on YouTube during my show. So where was I? All right, so Blake Coleman would be good. What other winger? Oh yeah, Jordan Kyrou, of course. And he has like a no movement clause, and some people say, well, he might want to test the market in the summer. But I think if he just comes to the Devils and then says, hey, maybe I don't know how it really works, but make the stipulations of the trade that that let the Devils know that he might not want to stay. But Jordan Kyrou would be excellent for the Devils. I'm really on the verge. Like I'm like on the fence about Zetterland. Even Sharangovich. I mean, a lot of these guys in Ottawa and Calgary, I like a lot of them. I like a lot of those guys. There's a bunch of players that aren't available that the Devils could really use. But one thing I think the Devils should do right now is in the top with their top six is move Evgeny Dadonov into that top six role. So just using the players as an example, Meyer, Hischier, Bratt, Dadonov, Hughes, Mercer. Give Dadonov that kind of he's proven himself in the NHL. He has 0 points for the Devils, but he's also not played the proper positioning. Jack Hughes was out of position, which was messing everyone up. And people, you got to understand something. When Jack Hughes returns and then plays left wing, that puts everyone out of position. That messes up the flow of things. I'm not saying that any losses were caused because of this. It could be though. It could be. It makes sense. Tell me whoever listens to this, whoever's listening. I don't get many comments. Maybe because it's mostly listened to on Spotify, but if you're here on YouTube listening or watching this, let me know what you think about this situation. Also, let me know if you think the Devils should have traded Palat at this point, and what you expect from the return. Because the Devils did throw some third-round picks in there also. So they really wanted to get rid of that cap money, And goddamn, Dougie Hamilton, 8 straight games that he's played in, he's got an 8-game point streak. He was a healthy scratch for 1 game, so in between there was a game, but an 8-game point streak for the games that he played in. I don't know why people have to I saw people talking about it on some sports things I saw last night, and they were making sure to correct that, and it is what it is, whatever. So, now, do the Devils trade at the deadline? Well, not do the Devils. Who do the Devils trade at the deadline? Now, we have the Devils have 2 things going for them right now that were unexpected. Maybe one wasn't, but you got Arseny Gritsuk, who to me, looks like a player who will grow with the NHL style, because he did come from the KHL. He's having a great season for a guy who, making his first appearance in the NHL. His numbers aren't the best in the world, but you got to understand when a player comes from a different league where they have a different sized ice surface and different kind of different style of play altogether. There's a huge adjustment. So he's got 22 points. He's got 9 goals and 13 games and 13 assists in 49 games. So that's 22 points in 49 games. That amazing. Now, another great thing about Gritsuk that people don't realize is he's 6 foot and he's about 200 pounds. So he's a little bit of a force to reckon with. If you want, no, you don't want to wreck. You don't want to wreck. Bleh! I'm losing my words. Whatever the point is, he's 24 years old already, so he's not a young kid. He's out there. He throws hits. Let me see if I can get some. Let me see if I can get his hits. Let's see if it shows hits. Nope. Game logs. Nope. But I know where to get the hits. Fantasy. So let's look up Gritsuk in fantasy and see what kind of hitting he's been doing lately. I lost my third in the season in my fantasy league. I lost my third game this past week. This week I'm already up 233 to 112. So let me see how do I search? I just want to search hockey. Oh man, why has this got to happen? Why has this got to happen? I'll do it on my you know what? I'll go right to I'm gonna pull up my my fantasy right on the screen. Why not, right? Who's it gonna hurt? The Ghostbusters? Who you gonna hurt? Ghostbusters. Alright, so let's look for Mr. Gritsuk by going to players and add players, because I'm sure he's taken. If he's available, I might even... No, I don't want to pick him up. I'm doing pretty good. Alright, so Gritsuk. Hits 44. Shots on goal 109. Blocks 12. Power play assists 2. Power play goals 2. Penalty minutes 16. He's a -3. 9 goals, 13 assists. No shorthanded assist points or goals. No hat tricks, of course. Pretty good. I mean, he's not great for my fantasy league specifically, but can't wait to get his Young Guns card, or at least try to. I'm looking forward to that. And I have his KHL cards, actually, which I'm going to go grab right now and show you. And I have this new feature. Okay, so I am back with one of my top loader binders. And in this binder, I believe I keep most of my Young Guns cards. I like rookies. I have a lot of rookies. These are mostly newer cards in here. Might be hard for me to do this, but I'll pull out a few cards that are just sitting at the top here on the first page, like this Quinn Hughes Speckled Parallel Playlist. Really cool card. I got this I don't know why all three of the top cards I have here. This Upper Deck Portraits rookie card. Upper Deck Portraits Quinn Hughes rookie card. And what is is this other Quinn? I don't even remember what cards I have in these binders because of the other cards. This is Quinn Hughes, O-Pee-Chee Platinum, Violet Pixels. Pretty cool. I also have here Zegras rookie, Drysdale rookie right there. But what do we want to see, guys? We want to see those Gritsuk like this. Nope, just kidding. That's a Paul Cotter Young Guns. We want to see these Gritsuk KHL cards, don't we? Check these. I got two. Oh, looks like it's stuck. Looks like it's stuck. It's this damn sticker. Ah, I ripped it. Fucking stickers ruin everything. And they ruined. I gotta take this out. This is Seamus Casey. Seamus Casey Young Guns card. Putting it in a new top loader because that one had a sticker on top of it. I did get this at Fanatics Fest, so it had like a sticker over it, and it ruined the whole thing. Simone Nemec. This is a Devil's Show. So let's get to the Gritsuk cards, eh? You know what? I'm gonna show you three more that I like to. Three more. The Jack and Quinn Hughes Young Guns Series 1 checklist. This card graded, worth some shmoney. Also, Upper Deck Canvas Young Guns Timo Meyer, which I'm gonna get signed before I get graded. Seattle Bowie Young Guns. That's pretty cool. Slavkovsky Young Guns. Also pretty cool. Well, let's get to Gritsuk, huh? But you know, like as I go through these cards, I got a Will Smith prominent rookie here. If you're listening to this and you want a Will Smith prominent rookie card, leave a comment, get in touch with me. I will send it to you. I have it right here. I'll even pull it out for you. Look, see, I have two. There's one. It's double-sided. So if you want one of those, I'll send it to you. Check these guys out too. These are from 1989. I don't know how they picked the numbers, but these are stickers. Tops. See, once I open the binder, I go crazy. I got the Niedermeyer number 48 Niedermeyers. Two Niedermeyer rookies where he's wearing number 48. Okay, so as you can see here, I have Phil Kessel. No, just kidding. Look at that. Arseny Gritsuk. Let me pull the Kessel out of here. It's a good Kessel lore card, though. Phoenix or Arizona. So it's all in Russian, so I can't really say much about it. But it is Arseny Gritsuk. It's a 24-25 Gritsuk. Like I said, his Young Guns card is coming out in the Upper Deck Series 2. Now this is another card from 23-24. So this is the 23-24 Gritsuk KHL card. And the 24-25 Gritsuk KHL card. Pretty cool, huh? Hey Grits, you know I'm gonna have you sign at least one of these, maybe both. I don't even know. But next time I see Grits, getting him to sign those. And you know who the Devils really need? Arbor Jacki. Now check that card out. This is the Jacki Constellations. Now, the only reason I'm not going to send this card in and the Jason Robertson card I have that came from this Metal Universe Skybox Upper Deck, of course, is because the whole box I got was messed up. Like almost every card in every pack was there were no 10s. This card might be the only good card of value that might be a 9.5 if depending on what grading system. I really do want to try and use that AI grading though. If you know anything about it, please let me know. What am I gonna do with Phil Kessel now? You know what we'll do? We'll see what this is a Phil Kessel Allure card from 2019-2020 Allure. So let's scan it on eBay. Now eBay has this thing. I don't know if everyone gets it, but if you go to shortcuts, you see it says early access, scan cards. So basically, that's what I do. With my early access, I scan some cards. Okay, we're gonna bring the warning take in. Okay. So he's gonna come in a second while I'm talking about this card. We're gonna get a Canes fan's opinion on the Devils. So once he pops in, we will do we'll have that chat, and then we'll end this episode. John Maclean night, great. You know, like I said, let me get rid of that. Let me pull up another part of John Maclean night. Why not, right? This John Maclean goal. All right, this is a John Maclean goal from. What is this? Page not found. I'm trying to send. Hold on, let me. All right, so this is a goal. John Maclean goal from.
Back problems are prevalent.
I think it's game 6, 90. Wait, no, game 2 of the 95 finals ties the game.
Face off one again. The Coffee sends it in, tipped away by Brodeur, had to reach out. Good face-off win by Yzerman that time. Back come the Devils. Maclean in, Maclean shot, scores! The Devils tie it up with the odd man rush. John Maclean held it as long as you can. Took the shot, trickled by Vernon. 1-1.
Well, we talked about the odd man rushes that the Devils have been able to generate. That's the only thing really that's going to hurt the Detroit Red Wings, because they have played so splendidly defensively. But that ended up to be a 3-on-1 because of the turnover by the Red Wings. And John Maclean had a couple of choices. First of all, Scott Niedermayer, who jumped up on the play and made it happen, then stayed over as the decoy. Yeah, tough to see from that angle if Bob Rouse, number 3 for the Red Wings, got a piece of it. But John Maclean looked for the pass, and then he said, I'm going to have to let it go. That looked like it hit Bob Rouse.
Back problems are prevalent in the game. Face off one again. The Coffee sends it in, tipped away by Brodeur, had to reach out. Good face-off win by Yzerman that time. Back come the Devils. Maclean in, Maclean shot, scores! The Devils tie it up with the odd man rush. John Maclean held it as long as you can. Took the shot, trickled by Vernon. 1-1.
Well, we talked about the odd.
All right, so Brandon from the warning take is here with us. He's gonna be joining me in just a second. while he goes and takes care of his hydration issues, which I have hydration issues, but his are from playing hockey. I injured myself too much where hockey is not part of my playing hockey is not part of my life anymore, unfortunately. But if I could, I would go back to coaching, like Pee Wee. I'm thinking about doing it. I'm also a referee. I think maybe I would have to get reinstated as a. I don't know. I don't even know how that stuff works. But what we're gonna do with Brandon is we're gonna ask him his opinion on certain Devils players, certain situations. Also, Evander Kane. It looks like the Devils are in a little thing with Evander Kane right now. So, maybe they'll get him. I love the idea of Evander Kane. So we're gonna see what Brandon thinks. I don't know if he knows about it. Obviously, I've been recording this, so I didn't really know about it either. But I am a fan of that idea. So all right. So I believe Brandon is ready to come on. So let's welcome a Hurricanes fan. Yes. And as I said earlier in the episode, just so my friend knows, I said I get along with other teams' fans better than I do with Devils fans. So, of course, let's bring Brandon the warning taken. Thank you for coming on, buddy. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you having me, man. How you doing?
We're doing all right today. Doing all right. We had, we got the storm and it messed up, obviously, the dog situation. So it messed up Nico's getting neutered. It was supposed to be on Monday, but they closed. So now I got to wait another 2 weeks. And we really want to get that done really fast, So a little anxiety, but other than that, been pretty good. How about you?
I've been good. I saw Nico trying to, take after who he's named after on the pool. He
You
was
saw
trying to
that?
go,
Yeah.
he's trying to go skating. Yeah.
I just put another video up. Gino jumped up there with him and started. They had a pool battle today.
Aw.
I just posted it up on their yeah. Oh, I sent it to you, didn't I?
Yeah. I just haven't had the chance to look at it yet.
Yeah. I said. So you have it. Yeah. So yeah. They just realized that they could walk and run across the pool because it's frozen and the snow. Hopefully they don't keep that in their mind for when it melts. But before we even get to the Devils, bro, I want to talk about a little something that I'm amazed by regarding Carolina, and that is the bus. Okay, the bus has pulled in Brandon Bussey, unbelievable. I'm looking to get. I don't know if he even has a Young Guns card out yet with Upper Deck, but I'm going to get his card and make sure I get it and have it graded because this guy is, in my opinion, a future star, just like Jacob Dobas in Montreal.
Yes.
Tell me about what the Canes fans are seeing with him. Obviously, his record is great. He's played great. I've watched him. Can't deny it. The Devils fans are supposed to hate you guys. Of course, I dislike because it's a rivalry. But you see a goalie like this, you can't deny him. Just can't.
Yeah.
What are you guys seeing? You see more than me.
Well, one thing about the rivalry, though, this is probably the true best rivalry in hockey right now.
Sure is.
If New Jersey can get back on track and everything, I know we'll talk about that at some point. But when it comes to Bussey, Carolina needed, pretty much any goalie they could get at the position they were in. That's even before Kochekov got injured. They needed to grab.
And I love Kochekov.
I do too, man. I hope that he gets better. But, the injury he has is common among goalies. So
yep.
I'm hoping. So what Carolina really needed was a goalie who can sit there and not do anything, not face a single shot for. Are you hearing that static in the headset? Oh wait, now it's gone. Okay. But they needed a goalie who could sit there and be cold for. I lost you.
I was muted. I accidentally knocked my microphone cable out.
Okay, yeah, because
Go
I heard
on.
some static. But so they needed a goalie who could sit there and not see rubber for that 4 or 5, sometimes even longer, 4 or 5 minutes, where
Right.
Carolina just sits there and sustains the offensive zone for a long time. And
And
you
which
needed a goal.
usually the goalies kind of get a little complacent at that point, and
Mhm.
then a 2-on-1 comes the other way, and boom, goal.
Yeah, and
That's
with the
how
way
that's
Carolina,
how
go
it
ahead.
happens with the Devils. Go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good, buddy. But so that's kind of the problem with Carolina is that they'll sustain the offensive zone for minutes at a time, and then when they finally do give up a chance, they're really good at, the man on man defense, boxing them out, keeping them on the perimeter. When a team does get a quality chance, they work for it. So it's a high danger one. So that's why Bussy's
Right.
leading the league in high danger save percentage right now. He's got one of the best expected goals saved above expected in the league for the amount of minutes
Unbelievable.
that he's played. And that's exactly what they needed. I think another thing that kind of throws teams off is he's one of only 4 full right goalies in the league because there's 2 in
Yep.
Washington, Yaro Askarov, and
Askarov.
him.
Right.
So like this was kind of like a miracle type of situation. And at this point, the only discussion being had about Bussy right now, like he's going to get signed.
He
The
better
only
be.
discussion,
He better
yeah,
get
if
signed.
they don't sign him, it's going to be like the downfall of the franchise for the foreseeable
And he
future.
would
And I
come
mean
back
that
to haunt your team forever from
he
whatever team
would.
he goes to. He would haunt you.
Yeah, and we've already had one of those situations with Jake Gensel in recent memory and Nico
Yes.
Ranson, and I don't want another one. But
Yeah, that's true too.
basically, the only question now is money and term of how much he's going to get, and I'm anywhere between like 3.5 by 3 to 4 by 5, something like. There's a lot of like numbers floating around out there from what I've seen.
Yeah, see I see the issue coming from like a general manager's point of view where you got a guy comes in hot, but that's happened before, but really not in the same way that Bussy is. Like, what's his record? 13-1,
It's something like that. I'll tell you in two
or is
seconds.
it 14-1 or something like that?
It's
Either way,
something crazy.
it's amazing. We've seen some goalies not with a record like that, but somewhat closer, and then they fall off. I don't see that happening with this dude. He seems confident, just like from what I've seen. He seems like a confident guy, and it seems like all of these wins has just made him like strive to even be better in the next game he plays.
He is 19-3-1.
19-3-1.
Yes, with Jacob Slavin missing most of those games.
Yeah, wow. How the hell did I forget about all those? I'm thinking he was 13. I must have been looking at the
You might have saw that graphic about him having 11 and 13. I can't even keep up with everything this kid's doing. Like I
He's
cover
doing
this
so
team
much.
and I can't keep up with everything he's doing. It's like every time I turn around, he's set some other record.
That's
like,
why I'm confused as to what's what right now with him, because he's to me, this is a guy that's just going to get better and better. And
yes.
It's, of course, as a Devils fan, it sucks because we're going to be playing him, and he's going to be, stonewalling me for the for the foreseeable future. But you know what? When I see a good player, goalie, whatever position, I love it. I don't care what team he's on. Like when I see a good player that's fun to watch, especially a goalie, actually, because goalies are rare to they're rare. It's rare to find a goalie that you want to sit there and watch him play, like out of the whole game, you want to watch the goalie. Like that was what we had with Brodeur. Like he was like just like an acrobat on the ice. It was so fun to watch him. I see the same thing with Bussy. He's just fun to watch in the net. And as a Devils fan, it's hard to talk about because everyone's like, "What are you talking about? You're supposed to hate him," But you can't hate on a player that's first of all, Matthew Schaefer's going to win the Calder Trophy, but this guy, if he came in a little earlier,
he'd have to be in the discussion.
Oh, absolutely, especially a goalie, winning the Calder is hard for a goalie to win the Calder.
Yeah.
I think Matthew Schaefer's probably got it on lock. But
I think he does too. He just came in there and just swooped it away from Demidov for sure. But it's like, because that was everyone's favorite until Schaefer showed up and, he can outskate 99% of the league on day one. That is a beautiful card.
Yep.
You got that one in the case?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
I'm sending this out to PSA. This is definitely a 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first Matthew Schaefer rookie that's been printed. So it's
And
not. Go ahead.
one other thing in regard to Bussy as well, he was undrafted.
Yeah.
That is the third guy on the Hurricanes full-time roster that is undrafted, because there's also Sean Walker and Jalen Chatfield. So
Chatfield, I knew about. I was going to ask you
yeah,
who's the other one.
yeah, Chatfield and Walker were both
I didn't know
undrafted.
Walker was
I'm pretty
undrafted.
sure
Yeah.
Sean Walker's undrafted. I'll tell you for sure in a second, but I'm
So
confident that he was
Bussy is
undrafted.
also undrafted, which gives him even more like.
Walker was also
love.
undrafted.
That's cool as hell. That I was just talking last night because last night was John Maclean Ring of Honor night for the Devils, and just the player I'm about to mention wasn't there, but the game before in Seattle, Brett Pesce, you saw he got cut. Did you see that?
Yeah, I was watching that game.
It reminded me of a long time ago, John Madden. In the 2003 finals, got cut just like that, and he got stitched up, and he was right back out there. So that's why I posted up on X. I said, unless he has a concussion, he'll be right back out. Even after it was so actually, it's kind of gross, but when you watch that video of Pesce, he's like, his head is down, and right when he lifts his head, his why am I losing his visor? Whatever the fuck it is, you see the blood drip down the front of the visor, and it's just like kind of. I'm not scared of seeing blood, but it's like kind of like ooh, like that could be really bad. You don't know what's under it, and luckily a few minutes later he was back, and just a gash. He's gonna leave a scar, but Brett Pesce is a beast.
I loved him when he was here. I absolutely did. I understood the rationale from Carolina moving on from him.
Yeah.
Plus, he got a little bit more money to come play in New Jersey, and he's close to home because he's from Tarrytown, so he's only an hour from home.
Right.
So he made what was the best decision for his career, and I really liked him when he played here. He was actually going to be on my 25th anniversary sweater. I just never got around to buying one, and that was actually going to be a triple reference, because that was the 22 was also going to be in reference to Sean Hill and Mike Commodore as well as Pesce. That's the reason I wanted that one.
I love Mike Commodore. I've been trying to get him for an interview. I've been trying to get him. He answered me and then said we'll talk about it soon after he had something going on. And then I don't want to be annoying, So I did send one more message, say, hey, whenever you're available, just let me know. But I haven't heard back from him, and that was 3 months ago.
He's busy chirping Jakub Voracek on X.
I know. I don't want to be annoying and go under on his X and comment under his thing. Hey, he might have lost over the past few months. X's messages and chats have changed 3 different times, so messages have gotten lost and this and that. So
it takes forever for them to load too, because when I flipped over to desktop when you and I were talking earlier, the messages you just sent me today, it took forever for them to load.
It says connecting and whatever on the top. Yeah, it's I don't know what they're trying to do. On my phone just 2 days ago, it was actually working out where it has the unread thing, says, whatever, unread and groups, and now it changed again. I liked that. That worked out because you could see who your unread messages and in one spot. Well, you still can, but it's just more of a pain in the ass. Anyway, back to Bussy. In my opinion, I could be wrong, but I'm taking this one to the bank. I think this is an all-star. I mean, all-star games, I don't even know if they're going to do them anymore in the future. They will.
I hope they don't. I think they suck.
I know. They're terrible, but
they're not what they were when we were kids.
No, when we were kids, they were fun. Unfortunately, they were supposed to have the next one here on Long Island, but that got screwed. That's why they said the Islanders got the first pick, because they stole the all-star game from us. Or from us, sorry. I'm not an Islander fan, but I'm from Long Island. But back in the day, the All-Star games were amazing. The skills competition, and now it's just a shit show. I mean, it's not even fun to watch. No, I mean, the skills competition is fun a little bit. The game is nothing.
The skills competition isn't even as fun as it used to be either.
It's not even half.
No.
Not even half. But there are some players, it depends on the players. When Ovechkin is funny. So when Ovechkin's doing whatever he's doing, when they did some PK Subban was around, I think he was probably in Montreal at that time.
Who was it with Patrick Kane with the mini stick or whatever it was?
Yeah, that was great too. Yeah. And even Jack Hughes did something funny with where he I was at the game. It was opening night against Chicago, overtime, and then Jack Hughes threw his stick over the glass to the fans, and then they redid that with like a mini Jack Hughes. So they both threw the stick over
I
it.
did think that was cool. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and I think the kid wore a cape, which was cool to have the little kid involved in that. I thought that was pretty cool. But other than these All-Star games, they're not even worth having anymore. It's just a waste of time, and it takes away from the teams. Like the teams they lose focus for that little bit of time. Sometimes the All-Star break makes or breaks a team. Like a team will be doing good, and then they'll hit an All-Star break and come out of it and totally blow their season. That's happened to so many teams. If it's just not there, that might not happen. So I'd love to see no All-Star games going forward. I think you agree. So
yes,
let's just play the season. They're gonna add to 84 games, right?
Yeah, they're adding too. And then one of the other things that I thought about. They're bringing the World Cup of Hockey back and playing it in the middle of the season this time instead of doing it at the beginning. I'd rather it be at the beginning.
I like that.
2016 World Cup of Hockey was great, minus the broadcasting. Very well done event.
The broadcast sucked, but a lot of players didn't play because the season was starting. That was the only issue with the timing. Other than that, I love it before the season because in the season it's just like the All-Star game. Same thing. It's a break. It's like the Olympic break's going to really kill some teams. I don't know which teams yet, but some teams are going to be going into the winter break, the Olympic break, playing well, and they're going to come back, and it's going to be a mess. It's just inevitable. We don't know which team it'll be. I think it might be Vegas. In my head, I see Vegas, Dallas, maybe just falling. I don't know why those teams just pop in my head.
They've got a lot. I mean, if a team's got a lot of Olympians too, I could see that being a factor.
Yeah, well, that's why I was about to say also, even though the Devils aren't in the playoff picture right now, they've been playing well. I think they might drop off after this too because a lot of the Devils are going to the Olympics. Like
Jack, Nico.
7. Yeah, Jack, Nico, Bratt, Markstrom, Nemec, shit, I don't even remember who else. Palat, but he's not a Devil anymore. Oh yeah, Palat was traded for what's his name? I can't say his name. Maxime's.
I've only ever seen it written. I have no idea how it's pronounced.
I think it's shit. I don't know. Titsaloff? I don't fucking know. It's Siplikov.
Siplikov sounds right because, like I said, I've only ever seen it written. I can't remember the last time I heard it pronounced.
Right, exactly. And last night I wasn't sure when they were saying it during the game if they were saying it right. So because the Devils recently have had issues saying names correctly on their broadcast, so you never know. But the Devils had to really. First of all, Fitzgerald has a boner for the Islanders. He just makes trades with the Islanders nonstop, and I hate it. And they had to trick him by throwing in two third-round picks on top of Palat to get rid of Palat's contract, which I think is funny, But the Islanders might benefit from Andre Palat, to be fair. The Islanders are a good team. Palat is not a bad player off the puck, That's why he was playing top line, with Jack Hughes and Bratt. Because he's good. He's good off the puck, like away from the puck. He plays very well. A lot of people don't see that. If you're at the games, you see a lot more of him.
It's hard to notice stuff like that on a broadcast because the camera is so focused on the active play around the puck. Yeah.
So you don't see Palat making some of the things that a lot of people have been very disparaging towards Palat, and me and I guess you could say the couple of guys that I'm most friendly with in the Devils fan base, we all agree that Palat hasn't been who the Devils thought he would be, but he's also not as bad as people make it out to be. He's just not. The numbers aren't there. It's not on paper, So, and that happens. It happens with players, you know.
I think that
But
was a win-win for both you guys, though, because
yeah,
you get a player who's eventually got the potential to be very good,
I like that.
and and you get rid of Palat's salary, which I think was the biggest problem. The
That's what they
Islanders get
wanted.
someone they can use now, and
Yep.
they got some draft capital back. So I mean, that's about as balanced of a trade as you're going to get in that type of situation. So I think both sides ultimately benefited from it. I know I made the meme last night about he ain't do nothing but step back, but like at the
Well,
end of
you're
the day,
still
though, that
not
was.
wrong, you know.
But it's like at the same time though, it's kind of the same situation with Carolina and Kokanemi. I like everyone knows how fond I am of that player and how I think he's been kind of done wrong. I am
Yeah,
waiting on something like that to happen with Carolina that gets him out of town because I'm ready for that saga to be over. Um, and then
I'd
they
like him to
can.
come to New Jersey if he leaves. To be fair, you know.
Dude, he's a good player. It's just the same thing you're saying about Palat. He didn't turn into what you hoped for,
Yeah,
but he's also not nearly as bad as people say he is. But like how you talk about you're at odds with certain Devils fans. I'm the same way with a lot of Canes fans, particularly ones who worship the ground that Brendan Moore walks on. They don't like me at all because, like I'll give you an
why do
example of
they
it.
worship the ground?
Yeah, they can't separate Rod the player from Rod the coach in a lot of cases, and I'm
Oh,
grateful
okay.
for everything that Rod has done as a coach. I really am, because without him, the Hurricanes might be in Quebec City or Houston. I'm not going to pretend
Right.
otherwise. But at the same
Great
time, I
point.
can
Great
acknowledge
point.
those things, and I can say when you're down by a goal in Game 5 against the Florida Panthers last season, and you choose to put Jordan Martinook on for the extra attacker, I have a problem with that.
Yeah, I didn't know that happened. I don't even remember that,
I
but
made
I
a
just
post about that and I caught some heat, but at the same time, a bunch of people were in there like, why did he do that? And I'm like, I don't
yeah.
know.
I mean, if I put my hand on my head like this, that means I'm like dumbfounded. Like that happened?
Yeah,
Wow.
because so like Taylor Hall would have been, or Taylor Hall of Shame, as you know him. Taylor Hall would have been my first choice in that situation, but he had just gotten off the ice. So I was like, okay, maybe he'll put Stankoven out there. And then I see Martin
Yes.
go over the boards. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like,
Stankoven is definitely the guy if he wasn't on the ice already.
yeah, it's like, and it's like, okay, I just, but Martinook? I was like, what? I was doing
I
that.
lost my mic again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but it's coming in through, I think, your camera instead.
Yeah.
There we go. I
I keep
gotcha.
knocking the. I got to get a new wire here because I
Mine's doing
bent
the
it.
same thing. Yeah, and it bends over time no matter what you do. But yeah, he put Martinook out there, and I was kind of like, there's times where Rod makes really bad game management decisions. Like in the playoffs against the Rangers, I think it was game 2, he scratched Evgeny Kuznetsov to put Maxime Comtois in there, and Comtois ended up playing about 4.5 minutes. So I'm
What
kind
the
of like,
fuck?
yeah, that was my. I'm like, why even do that then? And then the whole Kokaniemi saga, I could go on about that for hours, so I'll just leave that
Yeah.
alone. But like, there's a lot of times where he
Wait,
relies
who did he scratch?
Evgeny Kuznetsov. Yes, that Evgeny
What?
Kuznetsov, and to put Maxime Comtois in, and then Comtois only played about 4.5 minutes in that game,
So it
I
was
think.
pointless for him to even play.
Yeah, and he does stuff like that. It's becoming increasingly often that decisions like that are made that
Really?
completely backfire. And
That's
that's where
interesting.
I'm kind of like, and when I call him out on that, there are people who are in. I'm like, okay, let's acknowledge something here. The only reason Rod has not entered the typical coaching carousel is because of who he is.
Right.
And any other coach that would have made a decision like that, people would have been calling for his head. They would have been organizing protests outside of Lenovo. That they would, all that would have happened had it been anybody else. But there are a lot of people within the Hurricanes fan base that base their opinions entirely off of what Brendan Moore does. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, if you are coaching that team and you have a choice between Logan Stankoven and
And
Jordan Martinook,
Martinook.
experience be damned,
Right.
and your season is on the line and you need a goal, who do you put out there? It's the same
I
thing. Like, he
mean,
used Jankowski in the shootout the other night, and I know you probably saw a bunch of the stuff I posted about that. I was
yeah.
really pissed about that. So
I'd
it's
be
like,
pissed too.
yeah, it's like he's a great coach. He's a great motivator. He's good at getting them through adverse times, but there are moments where he is an awful game manager. He is a very bad game manager at times, and people don't want to acknowledge that because of who he is. And the state-sponsored media, as I like to call it, constantly takes up for him. I know you deal with similar stuff with New Jersey because you've recommended the idea of actually, I'm glad that we segued into this. During the offseason, I remember you and I talking about this. I said, Frankie, chill out, buddy. During the offseason, I remember saying that the Devils are one trade away from rounding out their depth. If you had sold high on Luke when he was an RFA, you wouldn't have the problems you're having this season. You and I talked about this, and you were of the same mindset that, like, sell high on him while the league thinks he's better than what he is. And they signed him.
And now look at where he has not progressed in his career so far at all.
And then, like, the mistakes he's making, like in the puck management in the defensive zone, like, button hooking right in front of his own net. You can get away with that when you're playing at lower levels of hockey because you're so much better than everyone else. You get to the NHL, that doesn't fly anymore. You can't do that against fourth liners in the NHL. He
scored like 9 goals against the Devils this year, and I think he has. He has more goals than I thought. I think he has 5 goals. But I honestly thought he only had 1 goal for the Devils that went in against the opposing team. But he definitely has scored like 7 to 9 goals. Not directly like the ones like against Carolina and but he's put the puck in the Devils. I put a post up and it was very popular. I didn't really get much pushback saying Luke Hughes has scored more goals against the Devils than against the opposing teams.
You're not wrong though. It's like there's
it's a fact.
Proof of that.
Yeah, and I also once and you don't want anyone to be injured. Never. No. And no matter who wants to twist my words out there because they love to do that. I'm not saying that I want Luke Hughes to be injured at all. I do not want that. But the second he got injured and then the games following, you could see the team tighten up when Jack Hughes didn't have a Luke Hughes in his peripheral. So he knows in his head, Luke Hughes is not here, so I don't have to look for him. And once that was away, everything looked better right away. It's like, it was almost like night and day to me, at least, where it's like Jack Hughes is out there. He's all of a sudden, you could almost see him not turning his head to look backwards to see where his brother is. And that's what I've wanted. And Simon Nemec is a much better guy to play. First of all, Luke Hughes was taking the power play one, the first power play unit. Hamilton, that was having a bad season. Healthy scratch, 8-game point streak, scored last game, doing great. Thank God Luke Hughes got hurt. We need Hamilton. Thank God they didn't trade him. But Simon Nemec is the guy. He's a 2nd overall pick. He's been slowly coming into the league. He wasn't just tossed in. Like Luke Hughes came into the league by playing in the second to last game of the season as his first game. I was there, it was Hamilton bobblehead night.
That was 2023, right?
Yes.
And then they threw him in the playoffs, and he got obliterated against Carolina because I remember that because when they said they were putting him in, I'm like, I just got a lot more confident about this.
He didn't play every
series.
game, but
they put him in game 3, if I remember correctly, is when they put him in. I'm like, okay. And then you guys like obliterated Carolina in that game, I remember. But that was a weird. It was 8-4, but that was weird because Martinook scored on a penalty shot and Carolina scored shorthanded twice and still lost. And still, that's not Devils, by a lot.
The Devils just had the puck luck that night, really.
Well, that and you guys were playing well, but the thing about it was I never noticed Luke Hughes at all, even with the minutes he was getting. And then the next game, Carolina kind of figured him out. And I was kind of like, okay, but yeah, I never saw the player that people said that he is. And that's not Devils hatred. That's not Hughes hatred. I look at this stuff analytically. It's like I sit there and I'm like, I think I said a year plus ago that I thought that Simon Nemec was a more complete player on both sides of the puck than Luke Hughes could ever be.
Oh, yeah. Now, if you look at Simon Nemec, just this season, 3 overtime goals. Shootout game-winning goal, 2 game-tying goals in the last seconds of a game. One that I was lucky enough to be at UBS Center against the Islanders, where in the video I say, that's it, game's over, and then Nemec scores with like 2 seconds left.
That was a pretty sick goal too.
Yeah, I love him. He plays great defensively. I wish I've posted more because I post sometimes some like good defensive plays. Lately, I've been doing less posting from every game just because it seems like people haven't really been seeing as many of my posts. So I haven't been going out of my way and just killing myself to get every little detail out there. But I really wish I would have posted a bunch of Nemec defensive plays over the past couple of weeks because there's some things that he's just not even getting credit for that he's done that were so good. He saved a goal the other night, and I'll give credit. Jack Hughes saved a goal last night, even though they lost. Jack Hughes made a great play to save a goal. Jack Hughes had a great game last night. You'll usually never hear me say that, but he looked like a star player last night. He was skating. He was going in the corners, taking the hits, getting out of it with the puck, making great plays.
Speaking of that, there was something else you and I discussed at one point in time, and you actually cited something that Fitz said in a press conference once. And then we saw that picture of him him being Jack Hughes at that rooftop bar, and there's nothing to that kid. I understand that hockey players do not bulk up like they used to, and they shouldn't because the game is much faster now.
Right.
The removal of two-line pass made all these things an inevitability. That was the most important rule change in the history of the game.
Absolutely.
But even if Jack Hughes puts on a 5 to 10 pounds of muscle, he can still outskate 95% of the league with the flu and his skates untied. Why does he not just put on a few pounds of muscle? He's athletic. He's clearly healthy. It wouldn't be hard for him to do. It's the same thing with his brother. He won't put any on. And I'm like, I hate that seeing these guys get injured, but at some point they have to kind of take the accountability of that and, do something about it yourself. Like you're going to get hit.
I don't think Luke Hughes would be injured right now if he put on some of that muscle.
As easy as that weird thing happened with his arm or shoulder or whatever it was. Yeah. That's a weight, do some weight training and that becomes a lot less likely to happen.
Honestly, if he did the proper, I can't, confirm or deny because I don't know, but that he doesn't do any weight training. But maybe if he did a little more and he was a little more, had a little more strength in his upper body, that I don't think he would have had that very odd. That both Hughes brothers have had odd injuries, but I'll tell you for a fact that Quinn Hughes, being not as tall as Luke, obviously, I think he might even be shorter than Jack. I'm not sure, but they're lying about Jack Hughes' height out there, by the way. They say he's 5'10". He's definitely 5'8.5", 5'9". Anyway, Quinn Hughes was pushing his brothers to gain muscle. And I didn't hear this, myself, but I was in, a situation with Fanatics Fest where basically someone told me that Quinn Hughes was just talking, with a couple of guys about training and stuff like that. And he said that his brothers, jokingly, his brothers need to bulk up. Not in those words, but, that's what he was saying to someone else. And one of my coworkers overheard that and came and told me because they knew I'm a Devils fan. Obviously, that's why I was working that. But even Quinn Hughes was telling his brothers, hey, lift a weight.
Yeah, you don't even have to put, they wouldn't even have to put that much on, but it's
not much at all, really.
It's like when we were growing up, or hell, even more recently than that, in the mid-2000s, hockey players typically had about 8 to 10% body fat, and they still had a decent amount of muscle mass. Nowadays, they're down to 3% body fat and half the muscle mass that they had 10 years ago because of the way the game is played. That's fine. But
speed,
it's like with me, I'm older now. So I'm, and I want to play until I'm, an old man. I want to play as long as I can. For every 1 hour I'm on the ice, I do 4 in the gym now. Because that's how that's what's going to make me be able to play longer. So for these guys, I can only imagine what that ratio needs to be considering they have practice, they have morning skates, games, especially, the two we're talking about play some really, really heavy minutes and some tough matchups. That there has to be some sort of they've got to put some muscle on. Otherwise they're going to, that was one of the things I was worried about with Aho early on because he was a stick figure. And now he's got, he's still lean, but he's got enough on him to keep him from getting hurt,
And
hopefully.
that's all they need. Nico Heischer did that. Nico Heischer was just like the Hughes brothers. He was made of glass. We called him Captain Glass. But this year he hasn't gotten injured. Why? Over the summer he put on a few pounds. You could tell his arms are bigger. Just he actually there was a picture of him like topless the other day. So obviously all the who they're posting it and drooling
Yeah.
or whatever. So I saw that picture. It was Gritsuk and you could tell he's got more muscle than he did a year ago. It's a fact. And he hasn't been injured all season. Like the Devils have an issue where they call it the core four. I don't know why Timo Meier is part of the core four. But the real core of the Devils is Jesper Bratt, number one. He was the first out of any of these players to be drafted by the Devils, and the first one to score a goal. Because his first game was the first game that Nico Heischer played also, but he was drafted a year earlier, so he's got a longer tenure. So then you got Nico Heischer, sure. Jack Hughes, sure. But then Timo Meier, why is he part of the core four? He's useless. He's supposed to come in. The Devils had Tyler Toffoli. They should have kept Tyler Toffoli.
I agree.
They would have no problems right now if Tyler Toffoli was in the top six playing his wing spot. He'd be scoring goals just like he was. He was playing amazing with the Devils, and they were like it looked. They weren't going to the playoffs or whatever it was that. They traded him, but he seems to be having fun where he is. But I think if he would have stayed, if they would have just kept him around, that the Devils could have really moved forward.
I agree.
Gave Timo Meier this contract that luckily his no movement clause ends after next season. And Jesper Bratt, they both got contracts the same day. And Jesper Bratt being the number one to me, deserved and because he's not, all these guys are first round picks. And Jesper Bratt's a 6th round, 162nd overall pick playing with all first overall players and first round players, right? So to me, he deserved the better contract considering until this season, because he's having a down season, he's never had one before. He's always been better. Every season he's gotten better. Jesper Bratt is an anomaly. And for them to give Meier more money than him pissed me off. But they gave Bratt the no movement clause for his whole contract, or starting after like the third season. Myers ends after next season, so they can get rid of him at that point. He is a useless. He goes on a streak. He has like 12 or 13 goals, and he scored most of them in like a 3-week span. And that's not helpful.
No, you need
it's
consistency over the course of a season like that and everything. So it's like here's one thing that I would hope that the Devils would consider for their own good. You can still kind of sell high on Luke and bring back a top 6 forward, round out your bottom 6, and go and not expend another asset on your blue line because it's really good. Because that 6, even without Luke Hughes, would be better, honestly. And then instantly the Devils go back to being a threat to the rest of the league if they make that one trade. But the thing I'm forced to wonder is, are they afraid to do that because of how unpopular it would be with the fan base of which the one...
It never ends, man.
Nah.
Can you hear me?
It's doing the static thing again.
And I'm back. Okay.
No, it's still doing it.
You don't hear me?
I hear you. It's just through the camera mic.
Motherfucker. All right, let me pause. Okay, I had to pause because my microphone is going crazy, but we're back. And we'll go back to, if we remember exactly what we were talking about. I think Brandon remembers.
Yeah, so basically what I was saying was, it's like, and a lot of teams in the league have this dynamic where there's been this bubble of a fan base built on the liking of certain players for things that are not related to hockey. And let's face it, Luke is one of those guys. Yeah. Are they afraid of trading him because they're afraid of the backlash they would get from people who might commit actual literal violence? And that's not hyperbole at this point.
No, it is not.
We're getting into a situation like, okay, Jake DeBrusk, he has a restraining order against somebody, does he not? if I
Yes.
remember correctly.
Yes.
We're getting into that territory now where the modern gladiator effect plus guys who are really young are attracting these very strange fans. And now they have to worry about these types of things. And that's not even a joke. Like we're in that territory.
Over the last decade, mental illness has gone rampant.
Mhm.
And a big part of it, people don't talk about it that much, especially outside of our circles of people, but they don't talk about the obsession with young male hockey players. But what you will hear about is that hockey is like what's the word that they use? It's a misogynist sport, or the hockey how do they frame it?
Toxically masculine and all this other
Toxic, the hockey whatever is toxic, the hockey, just the world of
culture.
hockey culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, I don't even know how to frame these stupid sentences, so I can't even think of them in my head because they just don't even make sense. It's
Well,
stupid.
it's all weird rephrased newspeak stuff anyway, because it's like I
It's
sit
a
here and
circle of shit.
I see
Yeah.
these accounts say this type of stuff, right? Yet they have a picture of one of these NHL players on their profile. 2/3 of the things they post are about whichever particular one or series of players that they are absolutely obsessed with. And
Literally.
like quite literally, again, not
Yes.
hyperbole. And they're kind of in that territory. So it's like every time that like Carolina looks at trading for somebody, I hope they're older and at least a little bit ugly.
And not
Like,
from San Jose. Yeah.
and not from San Jose. It's like people are like, well, you would love to have Maclean Celebrini on your team, right? And I'm like, yes, if he has some plastic surgery to look older and facial hair implants. And
Yeah,
that's for his own safety.
if he grows a beard, that would kill people. Would probably themselves.
Oh no, they wouldn't be able to handle that because but it's like this has become such a problem now. Now it will not last forever. This is a bubble.
Yeah, of
This is
course,
going to
of course.
burst. Eventually they're going to find something else to be. But it's like here's the funny thing. I heard the term boy aquarium for the first time a few months ago. Back in I want to say it was November I heard it. And I was like,
what was it referring to?
going to hockey games. That's what these people are calling going to hockey, because it's like, oh, they're like boys inside of a bunch of glass that you can just watch them swim around. And I'm like, what the fuck? But the thing the thing that annoys me about it, if any of us went to a PWHL game and called it a girl aquarium or a broad aquarium, and
if I
started holding
even
up
said
these weird
one of the
signs,
players was hot,
we wouldn't leave alive.
That's it.
Like, God forbid I say, I think Amanda Kessel is an attractive woman. I wouldn't leave the building alive. I don't know if she's still playing or not, but I just remember her being a good looking woman.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I don't know what happened to her brother.
She plays.
But
you know, you mean Phil Kessel?
Phil the Thrill.
Phil the Thrill right here.
Yeah. And it just annoyed me. People made fun of him for his weight. I'm like, you realize he can't help that, right? Because of the steroids? Like,
yeah, I mean, how stupid can you be?
Yeah, it's like that. And it's like, so
also he was great, no matter his weight.
Yes, he was. The guy had one of the best shots I've ever seen. But like,
I was just saying, the Devils should bring him back. Earlier in the season, I said the Devils should bring him back to play this year. They could use him.
Yeah, but it's like, but if we said anything like that, we would be admonished and basically banned from society. So it's
ironically, though, that the Sirens, the New York team with the worst fucking logo I've ever seen, by the way, the Sirens game in New York against whoever they played, some stupid other name team, they did a moment of silence for the idiot who was trying to stop the ICE agents and got himself shot, and it didn't go well for them. I don't know if you saw that, but the PWHL game. A couple of people were screaming "fuck ICE" or this, but for the most part, the whole crowd was like, "Nah, we don't want to hear this shit." So
no,
actually,
keep that out of sports. Like,
yeah, and most people in the arena were against it. I was like, "Wow."
Regardless of the opinion of things, it's like that's one of those things that just shouldn't be.
It has nothing to do with
no.
Yeah. And kids are there, like the kids are wondering what is that,
and then you have to explain that to them, and they have no idea what it is, and then they go and that's one of the things that I'm kind of like that shouldn't even be brought up, regardless of what people think about it.
Dangerous people don't. I mean, the people who made the decision to do something like that, they don't realize the danger that they're starting. because I'm not saying that there's two sides and one side is clean and the best and the other side is dirty and the worst, but there is one side that is inherently violent, and that could cause a problem if someone, you know, like said, get this off the screen or whatever. You never know how these other nut jobs, because they're mentally ill and they've been indoctrinated by the media. I don't know by who, but they might attack you for just for not liking that. You know what I mean?
Or
They they
even if they don't
phys-
say anything, even if they just perceive like you rolling your eyes at it, even if you're like
yeah.
just not saying anything about it, there's situations where it's like, well, it's also the same thing as like, well, you're not cheering for the same thing I'm cheering for here. You're not acknowledging this thing. You must be my enemy,
So
and
you're
then
the
it goes from
enemy,
there. Yeah,
right?
it's like there's no nuance to that discussion because of stuff like that. Like, it's like I wake up to the war on men every single day on X by these weird accounts, and I'm like, I just wish it would stop. I know eventually it will. It will
Yeah,
end.
we got
Like
to get through
nothing
it.
like this lasts, but it's like eventually something else is going to have to come along to burst that bubble. It's just the thing that worries me about a lot of NHL teams is that they're, especially the social media side of things, they are relying a
Oh
lot on
yeah,
click revenue now, and they are relying on accounts like that heavily. I'm like, that revenue stream is going to dry up. And when it
sucks.
does, it's going to be almost instantaneous when it happens. These people are not going to be around forever.
Right. It's not, it's already dying out, and they're trying to just push so hard. They're looking for things to put more life into it, but it's dying out slowly, a little too slow for my taste.
Yeah, I
But
want it gone yesterday, but
you
like,
know, but and you know what, we're getting a little political here right now, but that's okay. People have
I
to
wouldn't even.
understand
I don't think that this is political, though. I think this is like this isn't us attacking people
this is
for their
human.
opinions.
It's just human. Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like, okay, so for example, Eric Tulsky, the GM of the Canes,
Gains,
I
yeah.
would be willing, and I've met him. He's a nice guy. He's really cool. Judging by some of the like a book that his dad wrote and some other stuff, he's probably a left leaning guy. That's fine. Even then, when there were completely unsubstantiated reports about the Hurricanes signing Michael McLeod, his address got posted publicly.
They went right after him.
And they had no regard for whatever, like, one, that was never proven to be true. And I know from
Right.
hearing from certain people that Carolina never actually was looking at McLeod. And when you're looking at the people talking about it, it was primarily David Pagnotta, who's just a plethora of reliable information. I
Number
reckon
one,
now.
right? He's the
Yeah,
best.
better than Elliot Friedman. And then there, I could barely say that with a straight face, even though it was clear I was joking. But like,
Yes, of course.
there's that. There was no real need to sign him because he was more of what Carolina already had as far as center depth goes.
Yes.
And on top of that, for all you know, with as involved as Dundon is as an owner, he might have been pushing that. If it was true, he might have been the one pushing that. And Tulsky might have been the only guy saying we shouldn't do this because of X, Y, and Z. So you're literally like blue on bluing someone who might be on your side, and you just don't know.
You don't
All
even
for this for
right.
what? Clicks, virtue signal, like that's
Virtue
a problem
signaling.
regardless
Yes.
of what you believe. That's an issue because you're putting this guy and his family, or even if they don't live at that address, whoever might live there who
I
might
was
be
gonna
completely
say, he
innocent,
must have kids or something,
he
like,
does. It's like you're
yeah.
putting him and his family or somebody at risk for something that you can't even confirm to be true. And I know for
They
a
don't care if
fact,
it's true. They don't
no,
care if it's
they
true.
don't. It's all self fulfillment and paper dragon slaying to them. So it's
Right.
like, yeah, so it's like that's not a political issue. That's a humanity issue because there's a bunch of people who follow me who don't agree with me politically, even though I don't put my stuff out there about what I believe and everything. You and I have talked about that offline and all that.
Right. Of
But
course.
it's like I
And I have
try
the
to
same, yeah.
I try to stay away from stuff like that. I do my best to, and these people do their absolute best to make everything about issues like that, no matter how much
And
you
it's
try
so
to
hard
avoid
to
it.
stay away.
Yeah,
It's so hard to not make a comment sometimes. It's
I
like,
can't block and mute these people fast enough. I block and mute at least 10 accounts a week at a minimum. That's a
see, I
slow
don't
week
I
for me.
don't do any blocking. I do mute some people, and I only mute people if I've been kind of trolling them. Like if they start with me, I'll troll them for like 10 messages where I'm not even paying attention to what they're reading. I'll just write something to their response and I without even reading, and then I'll mute them so they just keep talking to me without me seeing it. I think that's funny, but I don't give the people the pleasure, because if you look at some of these people, their accounts in their bio, they're proud of people blocking them. So I'm not gonna give anyone the pleasure of me blocking them.
A
So
lot of
so they
times
can
I just
say,
don't say anything. I just do it. Like if they start posting all that weird stuff, I don't even acknowledge them. And it's just because like
yeah,
I mean I'm getting into territory where you know, and you understand this as well because you're already there. I'm getting into territory where what I'm doing can be a revenue generating business. I'm starting to bring other people into it now.
right.
Like so like I have to do my best to avoid things like that and you know just keep it about the team. I know I joke about, you know, deporting Jankowski and Martinook to China and whatever. I don't actually want
Yeah,
that to
I mean
happen, but
that's a joke.
it's a joke. And then but we live in we live in times where people think that I actually want them to get deported. I don't actually want to send Martinook to Fallujah. It's a joke.
I mean, if you believe that, you need therapy.
Yeah,
I mean, straight
a
up.
lot. Like it's like we've talked about this type of stuff so much. It's just like, yo, we're not actually hating on anybody. We're having fun. It's like this is modern day outlets for tribalism. We don't actually want anything
Yeah,
bad to happen to any of these people. On the inverse of that, the people we are talking about sit there and they change their opinion on neck guards based on who got hit with a skate blade most recently. If Tony D'Angelo
exactly.
gets hit in the face with a skate blade, they're like,
Oh, they're happy.
yeah,
They'll love
they're
it.
like, oh, that's fine. But you know, it's like Maclean Celebrini gets one little cut underneath his eye, and they're like cages, fish bowls, and net guards for everybody immediately. And I'm like,
Yeah,
do you want the game to be more unsafe? Go ahead. Put everybody in cages and fish bowls. Put Tom
right.
Wilson, Jacob Truba, and people like that out there with no repercussions whatsoever. Great idea. That's just great. Nobody
They
will end
don't
up
even
paralyzed.
realize. They don't even
No,
realize how stupid that sounds. Like,
no, that like that. You're making the game more dangerous. There's a
because they've
reason
never
why
worn equipment. Probably that's probably why.
they've never played. It's like the safest games I ever played, and there were pickup games that I used to play in on Fort Bragg back when I visited home frequently. Out there, and this was back when I wore a visor. Not a half the guys out there were wearing nothing, and then the rest of us were wearing visors. Not a single high stick, no bullshit after the whistle. Everybody was just out there having fun. If you do that at the NHL level, and you see it a lot in collegiate hockey, if you do that at the NHL level, the amount of injuries will increase tenfold.
Oh
It will.
yeah.
There's no mutually assured destruction at that point. The gladiator effect will be in full effect, and
Yep.
everything will be worse.
Yep. And if you could easily explain this to someone, but they don't want to hear it.
No.
That's the other issue. But I wanted to, before I forget, regarding my X account,
Mm-hmm.
like as you know, I'll like for instance, the Devils will post something, the New Jersey Devils account, and I'll go I'll read it and I'll see the comments under it, and I'll notice, like half the people who made comments have me blocked, because you could see that they blocked you just because everything, you can't like repost their stuff and stuff like that or like it. And I don't know who these people are. And I'm wondering, well, not wondering, because I know that other people have told them that I'm like, right wing radical or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, there's first of all, there's no proof of that. It may be true. I'm not going to tell you, but there's no proof of that. And if you're a Devils, this is what really pisses me off. It pisses me off just about the account that I have and what I do on my X account. If you're a Devils fan and you come to my account, it's like the perfect, in my opinion. I'm not saying I'm perfect or anything's perfect, but I'm just using the word perfect. It's like the perfect account for a Devils fan to see things in order of the games. If you want to go and see the goals, the plays, longer replays of certain things that happened. Like these are things that people love to see, but for some reason, a million Devils fans have me blocked. And it's not because they saw something that I posted that they didn't like. It's because they're in a group chat somewhere that there's a bunch of a few people that don't like me, and they've been told to block me.
Yes.
I was basically put on a list to block. There was like a hockey, account block list at one point I was on, because I have infiltrated these group chats. I have friends, people, you know,
Oh, the
People
stuff you
don't.
showed me was juicy. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
there's a
you've seen
reason I
some
never
stuff.
shared any of it though, obviously, because like it's disgusting. A lot of it is like legitimately just gross. But it's kind of the same thing though. It's like I deal with a lot of the same stuff. Like, and it's like one of the most infamous Devils accounts, and you know which one I'm talking about. Will block people, then unblock them long enough to quote something they said, and then
Yes.
reblock them again. And you know exactly which one I'm referring to.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
it's it,
that one claims that I've seen posts from that account claiming that other accounts that I've never seen before are me.
what the
Like, he's claiming that, like, this account is me. Maybe, like, that account might have retweeted one of my posts. A lot of people retweet my posts because I'm putting up the goals and stuff, you know? So,
That makes sense, yeah.
like that doesn't mean that it's me. Like, I have my dog's account, and I admit I have an account that's Kevin Weeks, top of Kevin Weeks' head. That's a joke account that I have.
I knew that was
Um,
you immediately when you followed me. I didn't
yeah,
even have
I
to
mean,
ask you.
it's funny. I haven't been using it recently, and I had the NHL ass hander account,
Yeah.
which I also stopped using. So that's it. Otherwise I don't have other accounts that I'm going on. Like this person that you're talking about accused me of talking to myself in comments in my own posts. Like I'll admittedly use my dog's account and write woof under stuff as a joke, like
But
under
that's
my
just for
own.
fun.
Yeah, it's just, and it's not just to myself. It's like if someone else like writes something, I'll write like woof
Yeah,
from the
you do
dog
that when
when.
I write stuff under there all the time, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, maybe that's what this person's talking about, but I have never gone onto another account that people don't know is me and pretended I was someone else talking to Devil's Joint. That's never ever happened, but in these group chats, they talk about it like it's a daily thing that I do. It's just a lie that they've rolled with, and I don't know if it's still going on because, you know, I I've backed off. I don't talk about people. I just do what I do, and there's I don't give anyone any reason to want to block me or whatever, but it still goes on. So that means I'm still in people's heads,
Yeah.
you know?
I do,
And
and I'm the same way. I do my best to stay away from stuff like that, but it's like they make it almost impossible. And we talked about this the last time you were on my channel. The algorithm, it seems like they push
oh
those
yeah,
types of accounts. Like they
absolutely.
and that's part of the problem. That's why I'm trying to get my own website established so I can be away from traditional mainstream social media. And maybe hopefully we'll deal with less of that because like my website's going to have a small fee on it to help keep bots and stuff like that out. And that's the other thing I have to wonder how many of these
That's
counts
good.
are real and how many of them are CCP infiltration
Well, a
bots.
lot of them have like 1 or to 5 followers, and
Yeah.
you'll see that they're either like a few months old or they're from 2012 and have 1 follower, and no posts, so it's like either way, it's like it's just crazy on either end. So you can't really tell. It is what it is. You know what? These people mean nothing to me. I just want the Devils to turn around and become the team. Last night, let's get off that subject. Last night, the Devils had the John Maclean Ring of Honor, induction, um, and it brought back memories for many, older Devils fans like myself of when the Devils were a team that no matter what, if they said that the Devils played the trap, no matter what, they were respected and feared for
Yes.
decades. For like two straight, almost from 1988 to about 2012, the Devils only missed the playoffs 3 times.
And they won three
So
cups. Damn
right,
near won a fourth.
and they were in the finals five times in that, and also they were in the Eastern Conference Finals, so they had a great, and as John McClain said last night, which I don't think is true. He said this in an interview in the intermission, and then my computer froze, so I was recording it and then I lost it. But John McClain said some people see the Devils as like they came into the league in 1995 and that was it. But there was the whole 12 years or so before that built the team. That's what he was talking about. And um, there was a lot of great memory. I was too young for a lot of these memories, but lot of good stuff when the Devils came into the league. As well, they didn't come into the league; they were in the league, but came into New Jersey.
Yeah, when
And
they came from because they were the Colorado Rockies initially.
right, and the scouts before that, yeah.
Mhm.
And Chico Resch was traded from, he won the Stanley Cup with the Islanders, and then he was traded over to Colorado, who became New Jersey. So he thought he was going out to Colorado, and then ended up right back basically where he lived. And I thought that was funny. Chico Resch is a great guy,
Mhm.
but yeah, that's it. I hope the Devils
The audio did it again.
to no one.
Okay, yeah. Where were we
So
at?
so this is. Wait a second. When did I pause it?
I
Whatever.
don't know.
This what we were just talking about. I'm gonna look through it before I upload this. But um, what we might have just not recorded was I was showing the Devils heritage jersey and how it should be their third jersey. And if talk about say what you said about the
Oh,
helmet with
about
this
the
jersey.
helmet. I think that like with a matte green helmet, those would look remarkable.
Amazing. And what I was saying was that the Devils are on their Jersey bye bye Jersey tour, but they never did. This jersey is much more of brings memories back of the Devils past and stuff. And they didn't even say a word; they just dropped it. And where I was going with that was, or did I say this already about John Maclean night? And yeah, I did say that. It
Mhm.
brought back a lot of memories of the old times. But how could the Devils go to a the black jersey looks better in the basketball version, like the basketball jersey I have. It looks cool like that. The jersey's got too many stripes on it, but like I said, it did grow on fans, and the font has become funny.
I like the font.
Yeah. So
The font with the
like
red outline looks good. It pops.
yeah, and like one thing we did, Brick City Hockey Apparel, a friend of mine, he I told him, I said, "Hey, make a glass, and then I'll get the font and put Cody, the name Cody, and we'll make a Cody
Mhm.
glass." So now he's
Oh, I
selling
saw that.
that.
That looks cool.
Yeah, but I told him, I said, "You gotta drop the black background, just make it Cody, like, clear on the glass," so he's gonna put that out too. So, anyone, BrickCityHockeyApparel.com, use the code JOINT for 20% off, by the way. And, unless he shut that down. I don't think he has. You
Mhm.
could use the code JOINT. If you want to get that Cody glass, I believe the clear Cody glass will be coming out shortly. He did post it and say inspired by Devil's Joint, which I appreciate. He didn't have to do that. I told him, yeah, I'll send whatever I send him that he could use. Doesn't need to give me credit. I sent him a bunch of stuff. Um, but I like the fact that some people are like, I have the Devil's Joint store. You're starting your own store. You put a hat up, right? What else?
I've got
Anything
there's a
else?
couple of hats and there's 3 decals up there. As far
Okay.
as Teespring goes, I wasn't too impressed with their shirts, so I think I'm gonna go somewhere else for that. And the other thing that's annoying for some odd reason on my store, even though I have it clicked to display the front of the hat, it's showing the back. And I
And you
can't figure out
and
how to fix that, and it's kind of bothering me.
I think I can help you with that. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because you
I
use
just gotta
Teespring
look
a
at it.
bunch, right?
Yeah, yeah. My
Okay.
my Devil's Joint store is Teespring. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you mean you don't like the shirts? Like what exactly?
It's mostly the color, because I wanted a darker black for like. So there was one I designed like a year ago when I started messing around with the merch stuff. Well, it's not been that long, but it's been a while.
Mhm.
And when the whole boring hockey thing was going on, I came up with one that just said boring hockey and had the main TW logo on it, like just the TW part, not the whole flag. So
Right.
that was one that I came up with. I came up with the Tomcat shirt and some of the other ones, and I just have not seen. I just didn't see a black that was dark enough. Like I want it to be like
You want it to
black.
be dark black. Yeah.
Yeah. I want it to be like a full on like not a slate black, but I want actual black. And it just like never. I just didn't see any of those.
I got to ask you a question though, because have you seen? Excuse me. Have you seen the shirts in person?
No, I actually didn't order any samples. That's another reason I didn't make any. With the hats, I felt like it was low risk enough. However, I'm going to order a sample here in a couple of days of the hats.
This shirt I made from Teespring. It's black as black can be.
That's what I was looking for. Yeah, I wanted something like that.
So
Yes.
this is I forgot which one this is.
Is that the heavy tee?
No, it's the light one.
Okay.
Yeah, I had the tag ripped off. I don't know how, but it's got that little mini light. It's like the lightweight one. Um, but I have a heavy one too. I when John Marino was on the Devils, I made it. I found a great picture of him drinking out of the water bottle, and his face looked like he was drunk. So
Mhm.
I made a shirt called Drunk Marino, and I put that picture on it. I have the shirt. I don't know where it is, but also that was a heavy one, and that you're right. It doesn't look dark, but they are dark.
Okay, yeah. When I was designing them, I just couldn't really find anything that looked because I wanted to like how I wear tank tops. Usually, I hadn't lately
Yeah.
because it's actually. I feel bad saying this to you. It's kind of cold down here. I feel very bad saying that to you, but it's like
No.
it's. I
It's
see.
9 degrees in Fort Lauderdale right now.
Jesus Christ! I mean, they're close to the water though, so like that kind of
Yeah,
makes.
that makes
I'm
sense.
glad it didn't do that last year because we went there when Carolina played against the Panthers. We went there like around New Year's, and then we went on a cruise after that. The weather was perfect. The
How'd
only
you
other
like
place,
the arena?
the arena is great. That is one of
Right?
the best arenas I've ever been in.
So cool.
Granted, I've only been in 4 NHL arenas, and that's Lenovo, PPG Paints, um, I went to Capital One a lot, obviously, because I used to live there. And then that one, that's the nicest one I've been to. PPG Paints Arena was really nice too. Like one of the things that I liked about PPG Paints Arena was like the front of it is all glass, so like the light comes in there really well. The concourse is really big.
Oh,
Trying
from
to navigate,
inside? Yeah.
yeah, trying to navigate the concourse in Capital One Arena is a nightmare because of how tightly packed in it is. So it's like
That's how
it's
MSG used to be.
yeah, it's so hard to get around in there during intermissions and everything that I'm just kind of like, you know what? I think I'm just going to hold it until the game is over, or maybe I'll just run up during a quick TV timeout or something like that. But it's like it's one of the older arenas in the league, though. It's not super old, but it's been around for a while, so it's kind of hard to navigate Capital One. Lenovo, like ever since, like I didn't realize how small the concourses were until people started coming to games frequently. Because when I used to go there during the drought, it was easy to navigate because there wasn't anybody there. I'm not going to pretend otherwise.
Right.
I used to sit in the lower bowl for less than $100, and I would have either an entire section of myself or I'd be surrounded by Sabres fans or something. And it was like one of the two. But yeah, Capital One was like, oh, you got your Mogilny one?
Yeah. Got
Dude,
my
I know you're happy
Mogan.
about that one.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it's like but yeah, PPG Paints Arena was pretty easy to navigate. But the Florida one was a
I
great
love it.
facility. It is a
I've been
beautiful
going there
facility.
for years. I had season tickets when I lived down there in 2013 and 2014. But the first time I went there in like 2007,
Mhm.
I brought my little. I'll never forget this. I brought my what would you call my mom's sister's son? Is that my nephew?
I think so. I don't know. I mean, my family's pretty much gone except for my dad and one
Whatever.
pair of
Yeah,
great uncle and aunt.
I'll say he's like a second nephew to me, a little Danny. I'll call him
Mhm.
cousin Danny.
Mhm.
He's never been to a game. Uh, I might have no, it wasn't that you that I should because you're not a Panthers fan. I have a picture of me with my cousin Danny back then, and my uncle Danny gave us his Panthers jersey. So we were wearing the old school Panthers jerseys, which I love. And I brought him to a game against Ottawa, and it up there it said shots on goal SOG, and I remember my nephew, cousin, whatever, Danny, he was 7 maybe,
Mhm.
and he goes, Joey, what's SOG? And I just can never forget that because I laughed so hard because he read the word SOG.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. But when I went to that arena that night, I just couldn't imagine it. This was 2006 because the Devils arena wasn't open yet.
Mhm.
Um, I walking around, they had hot chicks with selling cigars, you know, dancers like Playboy centerfold dancers at every corner of the arena, like in the seating, like you could watch them dance during the game, like it might sound misogynistic, but it was fun. And they were having fun. They weren't, so they didn't have a gun to their head just for those people. They were having fun. These were professional dancers. They were beautiful women. People loved it. Now you go and there's some guys there throwing some t-shirts, some guys in t-shirts throwing t-shirts. But yeah, great arena. And regarding the Devils arena, the Rock as we call it, they're doing renovations soon, and a fan who made his first trip to the arena messaged me the other day after the game and said, "Wow, the Rock is fucking awesome." And it really is. The Rock is awesome. And so if they're going to make renovations to make it better, I can't wait for that, man. But I've been to a lot of arenas, but I've never been to a home Carolina or Washington game, which I would love to make trips to both of those arenas.
Well, let me know when you come to Carolina, because I'll make sure that I'm at that game.
Yeah,
Because I only live 3.5 hours from there if I leave at the right time, so it's not too bad. I actually thought about going tomorrow, but considering the weather, I'm like, I'll wait. And then also last time I was there, I went for my birthday on the 1st, and they scored 5 goals and still lost. So I'm like, maybe I shouldn't go in there for a little while, and maybe that was my fault.
Yeah, you feel like it's your fault, right? That's how I feel.
Yeah, it's like, and I was relatively undefeated in Capital One until last season, and it was just Carolina played awful in that in that
It
game.
sucks when you go on a good winning streak. Like I go on streaks in my head by what jersey I wear to the game or what I've worn to the game. So I have like this Jesper Bratt jersey I will not wear because it's been to 2 losses only. And
same thing with my Slavin one.
Yeah.
I haven't worn it since. Like,
Can't.
oh, dude, I've got a Derek Stepan reverse retro. Okay, so me getting a Derek Stepan sweater was kind of a joke, because I remember when I was working at Pure Hockey, they had.
I like him though.
I do too. It's just like, so basically it was like, so my favorite number is 21. Yeah. I have a beard. I shave my head. And it was like, I remember I picked it up. I picked it up at Pure Hockey one day when I was working there because I had the 25% off on it. I'm like, all right, I'll get it. And it was blank. And then there was me and my dad were at this place in Raleigh called Flying Saucer when we went to go see a game the last time him and I got to go to one. And I was sitting there looking at the reverse retro, wondering, I'm like, what name do I want to get on this one? And I take my hat off and I scratch my head, and he's like, get Stepan's name on it. That would be funny. And I remember I go into the place to drop it off in the arena so that they can ship it off to get stitched and everything. And I told them, and they're like, hey, who would you like on this? And I guess they're expecting me to say Aho, Slavin, whatever.
Right, one of the top, yeah.
And then I say Derek Stepan, and the guy looks at me like, you said Derek Stepan. I said, yes, Derek Stepan, the shaved head, bearded guy on the 4th line. Yes, that's who I want on this sweater. And he just kind of started laughing about it, and like he's writing it down and barely keeping a straight face, because I might be the only person in history who has that sweater. That's the other cool thing about it.
I wouldn't doubt it. I
might be the only one. But the reason I never wore it again, the first time I wore it, and I didn't wear a hat that day on purpose, the first and only time I wore that to a game, Svechnikov tore his ACL. It has not been out of my closet since. I was I'm afraid to wear it again. I legitimately am terrified of wearing that sweater a second time because of what happened in that game. Call me superstitious. I'm very superstitious.
I'm gonna call you that because that's what I am. I am. That's my middle name.
Yeah, I'm as superstitious as they come. It's like I mean, like, I've got some weird ones. Like, one of my favorite ones is I have a gas pump superstition. There's certain numbers I will not fill my truck up at. I am like.
Oh, you mean like pumps 1 through 10?
There's certain ones I will not touch. 5, 6, 9, and so on. There's a few of them. Like, it's a lot to discuss. And then my other thing about it, have you ever been to like one of those truck stops, like a Love's or something like that has like 26 pumps?
Yes.
I will wait for pump 21. I don't care if there's an 18-wheeler there filling up, even though he wouldn't put the same stuff in his truck that I do. For example, I use that one. Like, that is mine.
Yeah, sometimes regarding numbers, my number is 8. So it's funny you said that, because when I go to the gas pumps, I know my local gas stations and I know which pump is number 8. So if I'm driving, because like, this is going to be boring for people listening, but there's like 4 gas stations in a very short, like I can come right out of my little section here and there's 4 gas stations. Usually they're all the same price. So, and I know which pump is 8 on all of them. So if I go to the right and I see someone's already parked at 8, I look to my left, and if there's no one on 8, I'll go there. So I always pick the one if there's no car on the 8. So I always go to 8. So when you said that, it's so funny because I only will go to 8. So you there's ones you won't go to, but I will only go to 1, and it's only number 8. The other day I had to fill my friend's car up, and she pulled it. Well, I was driving the car, and I pulled up to the 6. 8 was in front. There was a car there, and she gave me her card to fill up her car, and I didn't get out. I had the dogs on my lap, but still, I wasn't trying to get them off. And she's like, Are you getting out?" And I'm like, "No, I'm waiting for the car to move in front of me." "Why?" But she knows. She actually knows me like this, but she didn't realize. I was like, "'Cause that's the 8 pump." And she goes, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I should know that."
See, my
You know.
my preferred one is 2 because 2 is right next to 1, so it's like when I look up at it, it can be 2-1 or 1-2 depending on what
Right.
side I'm on. So it's like, yeah, I'm the exact same way about stuff like that. I will not. I
I
just
do add 9 sometimes because of this number.
yeah, because of Mogilny, yeah. But it's
Yeah.
like I'm that way. Like there's a lot of players I like. I really like Jalen Chatfield. I'll never have his sweater because I don't like his number. Like that's all it is. It's like the only one I've really kind of went outside that vice for is 82 because I've got Kokanemi on my Stadium Series one. So it was
I think 80 numbers look good on jerseys.
as long as they're on forwards, I don't think they look good on defensemen.
Well, no, on defenseman, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But 83, unfortunately, the Devils fucking Lamico, the worst player on the Devils, other than Dadonov at this point. Lamico wears number 83, and it just looks good. And then Gritsuk's got number 81. He looks good. Jack
81's
Hughes,
a cool looking number.
86. Yeah, 81 looks great. 86, Jack Hughes looks great. Any 88 is always a great number. It's obviously not a Devils number, but Eric Lindros, you could pull 8. Who else wore 88?
Patrick Kane.
Duh. How did I? He's still wearing an 88.
Well, he's still wearing it, but it's like, well, see, like the Stadium Series one I got, it was either going to be, I was debating between Kokanemi and Natchez, but I like KK a little bit more. So like and he scored the first goal in that game.
It works out because he's still got him too.
Yeah, and he's wearing I mean for now the Carolina still got him, but like
yeah.
He scored the first goal and I think he had 3 points in that game overall. I'm like, you know what, that was actually one of the best games he ever played as a Hurricane. So it's like, I was like, you know what, this sounds cool. I think I want to do that. And I got that one on there. But yeah, that year is when I got the step on one, the Kokanemi one. Like it all kind of depends, but I tend to get defensemen more than anything. So it's like the only forwards I have, let's see, I have Justin Williams, Tuomo Ruutu, and Kokanemi are the only forwards I have. I think those are the only. No, Aho, obviously Aho, but I've got 2 of his. So like, two-way centers and defensemen are my 2 favorite sweaters to typically buy.
We're gonna come right back to sweaters in a second, but about Ruutu, have you heard the Jaromir Jagr audio clip where he's talking about Tutu and Ruutu?
No.
I got it. He's talking to Ken Danico, and when the Devils had Ruutu and Tutu on the same team, and Jagr made a joke about their names. I don't remember what it is, and it's not funny coming from me anyway, but I have the clip, and it is fucking hilarious.
I gotta see that then.
Yeah, I would pull it up right now, but it might take me a few minutes to pull up to find it, so I'm not gonna, waste that time. But yeah, I'll send it to you right after this. I gotta go listen to it now because it's so funny. But Kokanemi is one of those players to me that I'm supposed to not like because he's on the Canes, but I have always liked him. I've never followed him enough to see the issues that most Canes fans have with him. I just kind of he's one of those guys that I just kind of watch in passing a little bit, and I always liked him, and I still do.
Well, a lot of people that don't like Kokanemi don't like him because so there's some sort of disconnect there. And this is not me trying to like take a side in it, even though I'm inclined to take Kokanemi's side. But the thing about it is, it's like Rod's been coaching this team for 8 years now. So it was an inevitability that eventually there was going to be a player that he didn't see eye to eye with that was not on the best contract to be able to be moved and all that other type of stuff. Like that was an inevitability. That's life, because it's like,
Right.
People, it's like people act like he's this perfect impartial leader, and I say that he's not, and that's not a slight on him. It's impossible. It is not human nature to be a perfect impartial leader. You cannot do it. It's just not. It's not possible.
Doesn't make sense.
So that aside, it's like with that case, a lot of people don't like Kokiniemi because there's a wide perception that Rod doesn't like him, i.e., a lot of the times that he's been held out of the lineup. Now, I personally think that Kokiniemi has been given the short end of the stick on a lot of stuff because Jordan Martinook has played the worst hockey I've seen him play the last 2 months. I think he's playing through something. That's not a
That's
slight
what
on him.
I read that from a few people like in the past few days.
He's not himself right now. He's got to be playing through an injury or something. But it's like the stuff that Martinook has been doing lately got Kokiniemi minutes reduced, scratched, so on and so forth. And a lot of people decided, well, Rod doesn't appear to like Kokiniemi, so I also don't like Kokiniemi.
So now I don't like him.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that within the Canes fan base. And then the thing that makes it a little bit worse is,
sucks.
I'm not going to pretend Kokiniemi is a good skater. He's not. He looks like a newborn horse.
He looks like he's running.
He can't, he can't skate worth a damn. The sad thing is he's skating better than he did last season, so I think he worked on it over the summer.
Well, that's
but
good.
He can't skate worth a damn. And when you're on a team, and it's kind of the same thing with New Jersey because your entire team really good skaters. So it's like when someone who's kind of below average on the skating aspect of things, like Kokiniemi is, it really stands out. But it's like, the Devils are chock full of good skaters. But it's like the Hurricanes, it's the same thing where everybody's a pretty solid skater on the team. You've got some of the best ones in the league actually between Stankoven and Ehlers. Sean Walker's skating is really underrated. And then
Ehlers and Stankoven.
Yeah. And it's
Great.
like, and they had Natchez before, who a lot of people regard him as the best skater in the National Hockey League. Sometimes he skates too well for his own good, and that's why he cough the puck up in certain situations.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, so it's like that. That's the only valid argument I've really heard about Kokiniemi is that he doesn't skate very well, and I will not argue with that at all. But a lot of the situations where he turned the puck over in and everything like that were not good, but it's like he's not doing it any more than much of anybody else is. It's like, but Martinook does stuff like that, and everyone's like, "Oh, poor baby Martinook, he must be playing through something." Kokiniemi
That's
does
how
that,
Luke Hughes got treated.
Yeah, and Kokiniemi does that, and they want to take him out back and hang him. That's the problem with it. Like, and I mean that semi-literally.
That's
some of the stuff
the
Luke
Luke Hughes, Simone Nemec on the Devils. Same situation.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like I think he's a good player, Kokiniemi is, and he'll benefit from the hopefully inevitable change of scenery because I don't really like how he's being basically used as a nearly $5 million 13th forward. And it's like the only reason people think that Jankowski is better than Kokiniemi is because he gets to play more often. And I'm like, have you guys ever stopped to think that maybe the coach might be wrong about some things?
Yeah,
and God forbid I bring that up.
Oh, God. You mean you're bringing up that someone might not be 100% correct all the time?
Yeah, and the guy that I say that about, God forbid. It's like the amount of heat I've caught for saying I don't think he makes good decisions sometimes. I like, it's like, there was one person who even commented and said, well, Kokiniemi is this, and this, and Rod has done nothing but win. I'm like, done nothing but win until the Eastern Conference Finals, regardless of what circumstances that you want to put on him, because in 22-23, if it wasn't for Bobrovsky, Carolina wins that series easily.
Oh, yeah, Bobrovsky took that series, yeah.
That's the only reason that series was even close. Otherwise, Carolina probably wins every game by multiple goals. That is
and
the only
respect to Bobrovsky for that.
I mean and no discredit to the team in front of Bobrovsky for not wasting his effort, because that we've seen that before, where a goalie plays really well and the team in front of him doesn't do enough to get it done. That didn't happen with Florida. Florida, they didn't let his effort go to waste. But the thing about it is, it's kind of like, and then Carolina gets the best team they've ever had in 23-24, and they get absolutely bitched by the Rangers, and I'm supposed to not ask questions?
Yeah, I mean, what's that about? You have to ask questions at that point, especially that Rangers team.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of like, that they should have walked all over the Rangers in that series. But they went down 3-0, and you're not coming back from that more often than not. There's the select few times.
That was after oh no, it wasn't. I'm sorry.
No, it was in 23-24. They beat the Islanders in 5, and then they go to play the Rangers. They essentially lost every game by 1 goal, sans the game 6, and there was an empty netter involved in that one. But it's like you put Maxime Comtois in the lineup over Evgeny Kuznetsov, and then you have Martin Necas playing with Jordan Staal and Jordan Martinook. At some point, I'm going to start asking questions, and that's what I've been doing.
That was the line, Natchez, Martinook, and Jordan
There was
Staal?
one point where Natchez was playing with Martinook and Stahl.
Why?
I've been asking myself that. It's like freewheeling type of offensive players like Natchez. Rod doesn't seem to care for players like that. And
Okay.
I have to sit here and wonder, when Svechnikov was younger, when he was having the problems he was having defensively, I have to sit here and wonder, did Rod never scratch him because he liked what he saw for the most part, or was it out of necessity because the team wasn't good enough to where it could remotely consider scratching Svechnikov back then? So like I have to wonder about those things. If that situation happened now, would Svechnikov be in every game? I'm not entirely sure he would be, but now he's playing well, so that's not a problem. But one of the reasons I think Svechnikov is playing so well, he's not outright abandoned the defensive structure, but he is not as committed to it as he was, and now he's producing.
So you're saying Svechnikov isn't playing his defensive role as much as or as good as he used to? Is that what you?
Oh no! I think he's doing it better, but I think part of the reason I think he's doing it better because he's not adhering to the system 100%.
That's what I want to see in the Devils. That's what I want to see.
And I remember I made this one post that like a bunch of people commented under it. Why do you want Rod fired? I'm like, that's not what I said. What I'm saying is that like there were, and this was when Natchez was still on the team. I was like, there are a couple of players out of the 12 forwards you have that are incredibly gifted offensively. I was primarily referencing Natchez and Svechnikov with that. They don't need to operate at the same capacity as Martinook, Stahl, Carrier, Robinson, guys like that. They need to be allowed to take that extra step a little bit early and cheat a little bit for offense. I'm not saying be hanging out at the offensive blue line when, you know, the other four guys are down there grinding, trying to get
but take that step though, you know, like
like you got to generate some stuff, and you have guys that can do it, but you're expecting them to play like, you know, one of the things I talked about in one of the group chats I'm in last night, the Chicago Blackhawks did not value Dave Bolland and Brian Bickle in the same way that they valued Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane. That's part of the reason why they won, is because they utilized that roster like that. But then I know this is the third time I mentioned it, but I get more pissed off about it by the day, even though it's been months. Martinook as the extra attacker, I'm kind of like, all right, I'm starting to have a problem with the way that certain things are done here. I've been very gracious about it, but after a while, I'm kind of like, this is kind of indefensible.
You know what's really funny? That it seems like the Hurricanes and the Devils have the same problems regarding, it seems like the coaches don't know how to roll their lines properly, or they're not putting together the lines the right way when they need to make a change. They're not making that change, or not doing it right, at least for that matter. Do I have that right with Carolina?
For the most part, yes. So like here's the thing with Carolina. It's like now part of it's not Rod's fault. The team's not good enough as far as what players they have. They need another center. And you know, like last night, the reason I didn't watch the Devils and Jets last night, I was watching Buffalo and Toronto because I was taking notes on Bobby McMahon, because
7-4 game. Wow.
Yeah, I was sitting there taking notes on Bobby McMahon, and I'm like, because I'm thinking about, okay, Carolina's got to do something at the deadline. If they go to the playoffs with this team, they're not going to win. Like, it's just straight up.
So you're looking at McMahon.
Bobby McMahon is someone I'm looking at because he's an incredibly good skater. He's big. He's 217 pounds. He shouldn't be able to skate as well as he does at his size. And he's got 14 points in his last 20 games, and he scored again last night. So
I didn't know he had 14 in his last.
I didn't
20.
either until he scored last night. They showed it on the graphic there because I was watching the Sportsnet broadcast, and
Did
I'm
you
like,
see the Devils were Vander Kane and the Devils? There was some rumor going around right before you came.
Yeah, I saw that one. That one doesn't make much sense to me personally.
No, okay, nothing's happened. I just wanted to check. Go on. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, I'd seen some stuff about that, but I'm like, that one didn't make any sense to me and everything. It was kind of like, but yeah. So basically, I was taking notes on Bobby McMahon, and I'm kind of like, you know, this guy, he's not my first choice, but I think he would make the team better, and that would allow Rod to actually not do things like stick Jarvis with Stahl and Martinook, and Ehlers has played with them a little bit lately because he wasn't doing well. We refer to it as stall line rehab when someone starts not playing very well. That's one of the things he does. He sticks them with them until they get right, which that type of stuff I'm fine with.
Yeah, but it works, right?
But the team as is part of the reason, like he and
Stall
so many
line
coaches
rehab.
have said this. So many coaches have said this, and it's just simply not true. I don't care what they say to the media. I don't care how they try to spin it. So many coaches have said there's no 1 through 4 lines. That's bullshit, and we all know that. There's no such.
What?
So I've heard so many coaches say there's no 1 through 4
That's
lines. I'm like, you cannot sit here and tell me that Jordan Staal, Jordan Martinook, and William Carrier are of equivalent value to Sebastian Aho, Seth Jarvis, and Andrei Svechnikov. I'm not going to hear that argument. I just won't.
it's not an argument. That's
No,
that's crazy.
but that's the whole thing. That's why I made the Chicago comparison. It's like the amount of time, like, and I really notice this when I'm at games, and matchups, are part of it because Carolina is a very matchup oriented team. But I see the Stall line take so many offensive zone faceoffs, and I'm kind of like, they're there, and like that. No, you need to have
That's not the
Aho's
line you need in that position, in that point at the
especially if you don't
offensive
have the
zone.
lead. Yeah, especially if you don't
Oh,
have the lead. So
yeah, if
like
you're
that
trailing, sure.
yeah, if you're trailing or tied, that shouldn't be the case. Now, if you're ahead and you want them to go out there and shut down the other team's best line,
Then the Stall line's great.
use the hell out of them at that point. But like,
What they're for, yeah.
but it's just they play a little bit more than they should, and I hate saying stuff like that because it makes it sound like I'm making disparaging remarks about the players, and I'm really
Nah.
not meaning to. I'm not even making disparaging remarks about Rod in that regard because the
You're
team's
just
not good
calling
enough.
what you see. That's all.
Yeah, but the team's not good enough that like they have to make a transaction. And then everybody panicked yesterday when Tulsky, or day before yesterday when Tulsky, he did an interview and he said, "Oh, we're fine with the team the way it is." And everyone's panicking about him. Like, what do you expect him to say? Do you
I
expect
know,
him to
yeah.
go to the media like he's posturing? Do you expect him to go to the media and say, "Oh no, our team is not good enough. We need to add somebody else"? You diminish the morale of the
Yeah.
guys in the room, and two, you tell the rest of the league to feast on our dead corpse. So
Imagine the people who got mad at him for saying what he said if he said that.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like he's not going to go to the media and say, no, the team's not good enough. We all know the team's not good enough. Like if you
But
go
it's
to the
not the
playoffs,
words that come out of the mouth of a, you don't say that.
no,
You just
you
don't.
can't do that. So it's like because you're basically telling the rest of the league like we're open for business. Take us for everything we're worth. Like you can't do that. So he did the right thing there. But people were looking at that as a definitive statement saying that he thinks the team is good enough. Nobody thinks this team is good enough. Nobody. I mean, when it was good enough, it still wasn't good enough. So it's not good enough until I see them actually win the whole thing, which I don't think is. I never thought it was going to be this year anyway. I think it's next year. I've maintained that for about 3 years, and I think 27 is when they'll get it done.
Let me ask you if for Carolina if it isn't this year, who takes them out?
Either Florida or Tampa again.
Okay,
That's
I
that's
can see that.
Dark horse Detroit. Now the reason I say that.
You're absolutely right on that one.
Now the reason I say
like
that.
Detroit. I like
The reason I say that, well, I remember I was doing, how I do my pregame shows and everything, right?
Yep.
I remember I was looking at the lines and I go, that middle six is fucking scary.
Yeah, Detroit is underrated.
Yeah, so it's like that middle six is scary and their defense is better than it has been in years. So like when I look at that and I go, if Carolina, like if that series drags out, Carolina probably wins over the course of 7 games where depth becomes more of a factor as far as what they do defensively, wearing the other team out and everything like that.
But
Ben
when
Sherratt, Ben Sherratt just got paid too. But it's like the whole thing about it is like when I look at a middle six that has Patrick Kane and James Van Riemsdyk and a bunch of very capable and experienced players, if they get a stranglehold in that series, it is over.
They're stacked in that position. Yeah, I mean
they've got a good goalie now. It's like if it drug out, like if Carolina won it if it ends in 5 games, Detroit wins. If it ends in 6 or 7, Carolina wins.
Carolina could take that, yeah.
Yeah, that's the dark horse for me is Detroit, because when I look at that middle six, I go, it's not going to be dangerous forever because all those guys are getting up there. But playing against it over and over again, I would be a little bit worried if Carolina didn't win at least one of the first 3 games. I would be terrified at that point because now over the course of time, Carolina's defense will start to figure them out, wear them out through attrition, a little bit younger, a little bit faster, all that type of stuff. But as it stands,
on the other end, they got Mo Sider too.
Mo Sider's nasty. But it's like over the course of time, it's like I think Carolina would wear them down and win. But at the outset, I would be pretty worried.
Yeah, Detroit could probably come out quick and like you said, like a 4-1 bam.
Hell, I
But
think the
if
Islanders could give them a problem in
dude,
the first round. That team is
I
better
got
than people are giving it credit
I
for.
got bets already on the Islanders for the playoffs.
I
I've
think they'll
already
make it.
made them.
Yeah.
Not even to make it. I have them to. I make weird ass bets. I already got them to go to game at least go to the second round. I made a
Yeah.
bet that they'll make the second round. I don't know who they're gonna play. I have uh and I all of a sudden I don't know, maybe it's because I live on Long Island. I just got an Islanders like this feeling about the Islanders like they might go further than people expect. Like they might do something good.
That's why
I
them
actually
picking up Palat kind of makes sense for them. It really
yeah,
does.
they just strengthened the team. That's all they did. And
And then a change of
it
scenery can do
worked
wonders for a guy
for
like
any
Palat.
player.
So for any
The
player,
the
yeah,
Devils should look at Jordan Kyrou. I know he has a no movement clause, but he if he looks at the Devils and they add and thinking about adding him, if he looks at it like if they add me, this is a team that could do something. I think
Ky-
he would go for it let
Cairo,
them
I
trade
think,
him.
would be what you were expecting out of Timo Meyer.
Right, and I'd love to
That's
trade him and get him out.
Yeah, I think Cairo would be good for you guys. I don't think he would fit in Carolina because he's just the defensive side of his game's not where Brendamore would want it.
Yeah.
Um, but like I've already banged the drum multiple times on who I want to get from St. Louis. It's not going to happen, but I continue to attempt my pathetic attempt to manifest it. But it's
Wait,
like
who do you want from St.
I
Louis?
want I wanted Robert Thomas, and I was ready to give up a
Oh,
lot of. I was ready to give up
face
almost
off
anybody not
king.
named Nikishin or
Face
anyone
off.
not named Nikishin. I was like, get Thomas here because that, people are like, how good is he? I'm like, he's a right-handed version of Aho with a more offensive killer instinct.
Yo,
Like,
I gotta do this because I've never I gotta just do who even knew even the slightest about Robert Thomas. He's my number one pick when on in every fantasy draft every year. He's
yeah,
I love Robert Thomas. I would kill for him to be on my Devils. I would
yes.
I'm so glad you said that. I didn't know what player you were gonna say, and I didn't think it was gonna be Robert Thomas. I thought you would maybe say Jake Neighbors or I don't know, but
No, and Robert Thomas is a
like
long
my
shot.
favorite like dark horse, not dark horse. He's like my secret favorite player in the league.
Yes, I absolutely love Robert Thomas, and it's like, it's like I put a proposal together for him the other day, and I outlined the rash. It's like when people make trade proposals online, they typically just throw names on there and be
Oh
done with
yeah,
it.
and it makes no sense. Yeah,
Whereas me, I wrote out why here's why I included Kokiniemi. Here's why I included Charlie Serrato. Here's why I included Joel Niestrom. Here's why I included this pick. And then there's people under there, oh, you're retarded and all this other stuff, and not even giving me any rationale as to why I'm allegedly retarded.
right.
So
You're
I'm
just
like,
retarded. That's it.
I'm just retarded. So it's like, I outlined, I'm like, okay, this is at least the framework of a deal. Maybe you have to add something to it. Maybe you have to change something. But everyone's like, Nikishin or no deal. And I'm like, okay, hold on. Out of all the competitors that there are, Carolina, second best package, which would be anything not including Nikishin, is better than anybody else could offer without draining their main NHL roster. So
Right.
it's like, it might happen. I don't know. It depends on if they can get Thomas away because he also has a full no trade clause. But it's like that team's not going to be good again
How long is
during
his
his tenure.
contract up?
He's got 4 more years after this one. That team is not going to be good again before he would be at least
Yeah.
near the end. That's why I'm like,
If I were him, if not if I were him, I would assume that if he had the right opportunity, he would definitely waive that.
yeah, and that's why I think that Carolina would be a good one. And if they, I'm not willing to give up Nikishin to get him. It's not 4 years of Robert Thomas is not worth a career of Alexander.
Yeah,
Nikishin.
I wouldn't do that either. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's the biggest reason I wouldn't do that. But they've got a lot of other assets that they could expend to get him. And then it's like at the same time, it's like I look at that and I go, that's like a godsend of what the Hurricanes have been missing for years. And they talk about Pedersen, Trocheck, all this other stuff, and I'm like, no, this problem can get solved with a slightly larger trade package. And he would fit seamlessly with the way that Rod would want him to play pretty much on day one. So I'm like,
it doesn't have to be the star player or the best player that's available. That's not how it works.
No, you fill a need, and it was like
exactly.
to me, he always was a player that would fill that need. So all those things aside, I think that I've not given up on getting a player like that, but I know that there's a lot of obstacles to it, and I would like to see something like that happen. I'm not expecting it to, but that was my rationale as to why you at least could start a discussion with what I proposed, because I was like, here's a stopgap center, here's a top prospect, here's a cost-controlled, really good defenseman on a really good contract, and here's a first rounder in a stacked draft class because 2027's draft is supposed to be really good.
Yeah.
So that was my whole thing about it. It's like they wouldn't hang the phone up immediately. I would like to imagine if something like that got proposed, but like people are saying that okay, here's the best way I can summarize it. Let's say it's 2020 or 2021 timeframe, and the Hurricanes have not turned the corner, and people start calling about Aho. I'm listening at that point.
Yes.
If they're not consistently making the playoffs and showing improvement at that point, it's like, okay, got to think about this. You don't want to do it, but is it going to benefit you more? And I feel like that's where St. Louis is at, even though a lot of people won't admit it when it comes to Robert Thomas. By the time they're competitive again, his contract's going to be nearly over and he's going to be almost 30. Or you could trade him and accelerate your rebuild very, very quickly.
Robert Thomas is only like 26 right now?
He's 26. That's part of the reason I like.
I thought he was old. I thought he was older, honestly.
He looks older. He does.
That's why.
But I mean, playing for the 26 St. Louis Blues will do that to you.
Yeah, it's true too.
But that was my whole rationale with it. It's like, I'm not saying it would happen, but like it's not out of the realm of possibility. I really don't think it is.
No, I don't think it is. St. Louis is going to be selling. And you know what? They should. I think St. Louis is a team that should clear house anyway.
Yeah, they should. Keep Holloway, keep Snuggerud.
Dude, Jimmy Snuggerud and Dylan
Snuggerud's
Holloway.
massive. Yeah.
I love both of them. I'm actually a huge fan of Dylan Holloway. I liked him. He was with Edmonton first, and that's where I first saw him. And I don't know why, but I've kind of followed him since also.
Mm-hmm.
I like a couple of the Blues players. I really do. And Robert Thomas is, like I said, my secret favorite player in the league.
Yeah.
And he's been for a couple of years. 2 years now, yeah.
Yeah, no, I absolutely, Robert Thomas is definitely one of my favorite non-Hurricanes, but it's just, I just put a lot of thought into that whole situation about like, does St. Louis benefit from keeping him? I don't think they do. By the time he's young enough, if they were within 2 years of being better, but it's not going to be 2, it's going to be 4 at a minimum. And now if they trade him, you're looking at it being 2 or 3.
Right.
But a lot of St. Louis fans were like, at me about it. I'm kind of like, hey, bro, I'm just saying, if I were in this position and it were Aho, I'd think about it. I would at least listen.
Yeah, sure. But you have to listen because you never know. You never know. I lost track of what I was thinking, but I'm at recording about 2.5 hours, so we're gonna end here. What I'm probably gonna do with this is cut it in half and take our section and post it separately than the beginning, because our whole thing is great and should be separate from what I did before you came on. So I'm gonna do that. So yeah, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I like to just talk. It doesn't matter what we're talking about, or if we know what we don't have to have notes. Just talk off the top of our heads. That's the conversations I like to have. So it was obviously we always have conversations. So we always chat. So I knew it would be fun, and I appreciate you. I don't know how long you've been on with me, but it's been a while. So I appreciate your time. Thank you for coming, but the Canes suck.
I know. Fuck you too, buddy.
The Devils also suck. So let's go out on a good note. This is 2-man advantage Long Island hockey punk rock. We'll see you soon. Thank you. Is it not playing? There it goes. This happened to Maclean Celebrini.